think there's good and bad. There's just survival.
4 bold flavors: jalapeno bourbon, applewood smoked bacon, sweet hickory, spicy roasted chipotle.
And he was like talking about and the Holocaust. Lots of it doesn't even make sense, and it doesn't happen. And actually, what they were doing is they were using those chambers, those rooms to deal out with the clothes and all that. That's what they were doing.
Oh, that's
arguments that I heard when I was 10 years old, and that where I read the refutations of. I don't know, when I was 12 years old, and but the guy's actually around, and there is actually a significant audience that watches this guy and respects this guy, including people like this who call themselves Solomon, which is like the ultimate Jewish name, and then say Nick Fuentes owns you, which is very, very weird. Like it's so embarrassing, man.
Yeah, that is. It's easy to say things like that, right? Like, hey, Solomon, Netanyahu owns you. See how easy that was? The IDF owns you in your face. Ooh. Oh, no. Ooh. No, come to think of it, I actually saw Nick before that. I saw him in this movie called it's called Nick's Big Adventure, when some dude stole his bicycle and he had to go around looking for his bicycle because he had this really awesome bike, and this dude named Francis had stole it because he had the coolest bike. And anyway, then he thought it was like underneath the Alamo. There's no basement in the Alamo and so on. Anyway, he eventually gets reunited with his bike, and so that was Nick's Big Adventure. And then matter of fact, I saw him in a movie. It was called Revenge of the Knicks. And it's basically he went to college, and all the jocks were picking on him. There was Ogre and Stan, and they were like all the football jocks, and they started picking on Nick and his buddies. And then Nick and his buddies. Then at the end they had to do a concert. And they eventually beat the jocks. To Nick's credit, they actually beat the jocks. And then there was this movie called Napoleon Dynamite, and he was going around this little place, and anyway, he helped his friend Pedro win at school, and matter of fact, before that, he was on this show called Nick's Family Matters, but he was this little nerd who lived next door. Anyway, we've seen Nick a lot, but he's always been very anti-Semitic.
It's just I said this before jokingly, but I was actually totally serious. I would think if there was a way to bring Hitler back, revive him, bring him back, and then then introduce him to his representatives today, the main audience, and if he saw Nick Fuentes, for example, he would probably ask for the gun again and kill himself one more time. And take the cyanide pill. It's so embarrassing. Embarrassing. And it's like
pretty lame.
The representatives of these people are people who use pseudonyms, who use frog images as profile pictures,
Bunch of winners.
Who post anime things, who sexualize anime stuff and satisfy themselves to cartoons. It's so weird. Like this is what the great Nazis are.
Hey, it would be both sides that were fighting back then if they were around today. Like if you brought back Churchill, any of the World War II leaders or the people who fought in World War II, and you bring those back. So the Allied powers, if you brought them back and said, look around, this is what you fought and died for, they'd be like, well, are you kidding me? But if you went to the German side and said like, hey, look what things have become for your side, either side would be like, what? This is what's become of the world. Oh boy. Hey, look what we got. So Solomon said Nick Fuentes owns you, but we've got the refutation here. Primus says David and AP own you, Solomon. Ooh, snap. Burn.
There you go.
So many video clips to watch. Not sure what to go with first. So we've got, let's see, we've got Nick, we've got Candace, we've got
Hey,
Sneako.
perfect. I'll be right back. Keep going.
Probably start with guys. We'll probably start with Nick Fuentes versus Sneako because they go back and forth a little bit. Take these first couple super chats since AP had to run and pee apparently. God bless you boys. God bless Israel. Good night. Good hearing from you, Snudgewick Ayatollah. The alliance was the perfect move. Fear the wrath of Shia crickets, you weakling. That is true, Ayatollah. Eunuch says 0.2% of the world's population wins 22% of science Nobel Prizes. Yep, and 65% Christian. And a super high percentage of Dawa guys. Name one Dawa guy who's ever won a Nobel Prize in anything. Candace is so deranged she thinks Saruman from Lord of the Rings is based on a Jewish story in the Bible. Crazy Candace. Hey, here's the thing. So Cam here just said Candace is so deranged she thinks Saruman from Lord of the Rings is based on a Jewish story in the Bible. Crazy Candace. The sad part is I can't tell when people are joking about the stupid stuff she said. Like, I don't know if this is like a joke, like a dumb joke. Haha, she's so dumb she thinks this. Or if she actually says that in a video because she says really, really stupid stuff like that. You don't even know because the stuff she says is so absolutely stupid. And that's what's amazing, that she forms this alliance with the gropers. And then they turn on her and they're turning on her for being so stupid. That's just what Nick's going to say. She's so dumb. She's so dumb. She's so wrong. She's hurting the movement by her stupidity. This is amazing stuff, man. All right, ready to jump into this? What's up?
The good thing about having had this knowledge and these thoughts about Candace Owens for a long time, I always thought that she was full of dumb logic. And
I can bear witness. You've been saying this for years.
Yeah, I've been saying that she's a complete idiot and so on, which is why I am not surprised by all the ridiculous things that she's saying today. She's just become a little bit unhinged and more open about what she actually feels, and she has been very much influenced, as it seems, by her more so deranged and collaborator husband. So that's what.
Hey, what do you actually think? Because sometimes you can make pretty reasonable predictions based on what you know about people, but Candace over the last several months has.
I'm a prophet. What are you talking about?
She had a pretty nice job with the Daily Wire, burned that to the ground, but she still had a huge following, and now she got demonetized from YouTube. Keep in mind, it's always, there is an appeals process and so on, so she might get back in their good graces, and I don't see why they wouldn't be willing to work with her. You're talking about if she gets whatever it was, 100 million or no, it was like 60 million or something like that views per month. I mean, YouTube is there to make money, so they like running ads on people's stuff. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Anyway, point is, she's fallen a lot this year in terms of revenue and so on. So she lost her big contract and then demonetized and now got 3 strikes and so on. At this point, some people would step back and say, I need to reevaluate and modify my approach because I'm losing ground too fast. I need to calm down, take a step back, redirect my course a little bit right now. Or you can just double down and go even more off the deep end because you're like, now you got. In other words, once certain bridges are burned, whether because of you did it deliberately or someone else did it because they don't want to be associated with you anymore. Sometimes people are controlling their craziness because they want to keep the bridge going. And then when someone says, okay, you're no longer working with us, it's okay, well, now I could go more off the deep end because I was actually restraining my behavior to stay, to work with you guys. And so I'm not working with you guys. Now I could go even more off the deep end. And now you're cut off here and you can only be on Rumble. Okay, well, now I need to watch what I say even less. So anyway, I'm actually wondering, is she gonna tone it down and try to get back with everyone? Or, I mean, at least, for most of her followers, a lot of whom think she's going crazy, or you just double down and go off the deep end even more. Don't know.
I will say, from how I see it, from what it looks like to me, um, that she will not turn around and change her mind and have a change of heart and start being reasonable again or tone it down. I think that she is. So one issue is there is the family background. She is in a marriage, and now also because of that in some deep connections and religious circles and all of that, which give her the motivation and the safety to be completely unhinged and a contrarian in her own mind, and to, I mean, honestly, this is a little bit judgmental and a little bit humiliating and not something that I really like to say, but she simply is a cliche of somebody who doesn't have a mind of her own and who just seemingly is influenced and repeats whatever her husband believes in and tells her. That's what it looks like, and that guy is a scumbag. So and they have ties with, I don't know, Andrew Tate and all the other scumbags that are around in Europe. Uh, so she has those ties. She has the security and the safety of those. I don't think that she will actually consider toning down, um, unless, I would say, unless they discover a good opportunity for a grift where they will, where it seems reasonable to simply say, we were wrong about certain things. We want to now change what we are talking about. We want to change our perspective. If they recognize, if they see a grift, an opportunity for that, they might do that. Other than that, I don't think that Candace Owens has any integrity to begin with, and she will simply go wherever the money leads them. She is just like Lauren Chen. Um, I'm also pretty sure that right now, being demonetized from YouTube is, of course, a loss, but given her influence, pretty sure that she has different sources, different shady sources that are supporting her and supporting her family for what she's doing, just like Tucker Carlson and Lauren Chen recently and others. Um, I don't know. I think that things are just going a little bit more extreme geopolitically, so she will simply go more and more extreme with that extremeness.
All right, so I just put up a poll, AP. I just put up a poll. I just put
Yes.
up a poll, and I asked,
Yes.
how is Candace going to react to taking so many recent losses? And in case anyone doesn't know what I'm just talking about, like she had a very nice, very lucrative contract with the Daily Wire. That's gone, and she didn't need it because she was making $100 to $150,000 per month on YouTube. That's not counting any brand. That's just like YouTube ad revenue, whatever brand deals and stuff, because she advertises and stuff like that. That's a different story. She could be making way more than that. Don't know. But anyway, she now has lost her ad revenue. So anyway, those are just the kind of losses. Like do you say, wait, this is melting down really quick. I need to rethink this, or do you stay exactly the same? You're not going to change, or do you get worse? I asked that right now. The 70% right now agree with AP, saying she'll get worse. AP, before we watch our first clip, which will be Nick Fuentes, I tried to bleep out all the curse words. We'll see what kind of job I did. But we're going to start with Nick Fuentes versus Sneako, and then they have a little back and forth. Anyway, but we have this question from Biblia 1776. What has Candace Owens actually done? Just criticize the Jews a little bit? So is that it, AP? She just criticized the Jews a little bit?
Oh, she's just opposing Israel and all that. That's what she's doing. Just speaking out about the atrocities that Israel has been committing. That's all she's doing. That's why people. No, of course not. She has been saying really messed up things. Now, in no order from less problematic to extremely problematic. I just want to count several things that come to mind. So, the Holocaust issue, she repeatedly made statements about it that are just completely unnecessarily unhinged, such as that the Holocaust. That this is not something we have to really think about and talk about so often. There is a greater Holocaust, a bigger Holocaust, which was done against Christians in Soviet Russia, and it was done by certain people who are possibly Jewish. That's what she suggested. All of that is complete nonsense. Yes, the Soviets were anti-religious and anti-Christian, but also anti-Jewish, by the way. Uh, and it wasn't worse than the Holocaust. It wasn't a bigger Holocaust. And those perpetrators were not Jewish. Lenin was not Jewish. Stalin was not Jewish. She jumped onto the Nazi propaganda point of calling those people Jewish, which is what Hitler did. She called communism basically Jewish. She started adopting talking points of Jews going throughout Europe and abducting children and drinking their blood and using them in blood rituals. But then, of course, try to save it by saying, I'm not saying Jews, I'm saying Frankists, which are a special sect among Jews, which doesn't even make sense because those blood libels started in the 11th or 12th century. The Frankists came into existence in the late 1700s and are not known for any of those allegations. It makes no sense at all. She's just connecting things and lying about things for the sake of hate. Then she started questioning and downplaying and basically implying that Josef Mengeles' inhuman practices, human experiments during the Holocaust were possibly just bizarre propaganda. Then later claimed that she never actually said that, but we have it on camera, and so on. It's. Yeah.
And then we're gonna watch the clip from Nick going after Candace, burning his bridge with Candace, and he had kind of a mixture. One, he was saying, you're going off the deep end here, saying all these different people, Ataturk and Stalin, were all these secret Jews. He's saying you're going too far. With when the Groypers start saying you're going too far, you got some issues. But then his other problem was she's kind of not saying all Jews are the problem. She was saying, she's directing it towards a specific subgroup of Jews. So anyway, these are the things that lead to civil war.
Just want to point one thing out. Silchest says AP is a little wrong. Lenin was partially Jewish ethnically. Lenin's great-grandfather was Jewish. That's it.
Oh,
his great-grandfather was Jewish.
Yes, and I'm 2.7%. You see,
So
David is Jewish.
That makes him what, like a quarter or less Jewish. If you want to be strict about.
Did you say great-grandfather?
Yeah.
Let's see. So your parents, one parent would be half. A grandfather would be a quarter. A great-grandfather would make you an eighth.
Wow. Yeah.
So I don't know which relative was. I'm just going with whatever you said on this. But
the guy was strictly anti-religious. His ideal was to entirely remove religion from society completely. Ideally,
he was a Talmudic.
To shut down
to impose
all churches,
the Talmud.
To shut down all churches and
Christians.
all other houses of worship.
Look,
Stalin persecuted Jews and so on.
Listen. They killed Christians not because religion is the opiate of the masses and you have to get it out of the way. No, they did it because they wanted to clear the path for Talmudic Judaism to take over.
Yeah, totally.
All right, so let's go ahead and watch a little bit of this. Let's go ahead and watch some stuff. So, Biblia out there, that's a tiny fraction of some of what we're about to see. So, first clip, let's go with Nick versus Sneako.
My Vandal super chat triggered Sneako. Do you think his Haitian Jew Grampy ever ate a live goose or did he f*** it?
Wait. Wait, the super.
I bet most people did not catch that because I was editing. I couldn't understand what the heck it was saying because it's got the robot voice. He's got some sort of software. And then But yeah, so it's a question about Sneako. So my Vandal super chat triggered Sneako. Do you think his Haitian Jew Grampy ever ate a live goose, or did he hump it? Both? Abby, assuming he went to the fact that he went to a casting couch at Sneako's studio in Miami Beach. What is this? I don't even know what this is. I'm assuming this is connected to something else that was going on in the live stream or something. But anyway, there's a comment asking if Sneako's Haitian Jew grandfather ate a live goose or humped it, and then they connect it to something with Sneako's casting couch in Sneako's studio. So I have no idea what this is referring to, but actually the fact that this clip starts off with this. Oh boy. Wow. Wait, does anyone know? I'm looking at the chat here, seeing if anyone actually knows what the heck this is about.
Just typical Nick Fuentes audience, I guess.
Yeah. Goat Tripper says he graped it. They ate the dogs. Now we're talking about eating the dogs.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Ayatollah Khomeini says, not the Haitian Jew Grampy. Oh boy. All right, we need to watch because yeah, I can't. I obviously can't stop every time there's something hilarious because a bunch of this is going to be hilarious. Anyway, I'll go ahead and start that little bit over again. For some reason, the robot voice makes it harder to understand, but then once you understand it, for some reason, it makes it funnier. I don't know. Here we go.
My Vandal super chat triggered Sneako. Do you think his Haitian Jew Grampy ever ate a live goose, or did he it? Both. Obvi assuming the Gosling went to a casting couch at the Elder Sneako studio.
All
in
right,
Miami.
And then it's Gosling. Gosling went to a casting couch. I don't know what's going on. And anyway, then Nick cuts it off here. He says that's enough. That's his buddy.
Right. Never made it out alive either way.
Come on now. Listen, I like Sneako. Don't got to get personal. But yeah, he does attack white people. It's really interesting. The Muslim Christian thing, it worked for a little while.
Here we go.
It's really not working anymore because
guys, did you catch that? He's going to say a bunch of stuff that's not terribly important, but right there, the Muslim Christian thing, it did not work very well. It worked for a while. Check this out.
Come on now. Listen, I like Sneako. Don't got to get personal. But yeah, he does attack white people. It's really interesting. The Muslim Christian thing, it worked for a little while. It's really not working anymore because the Muslims can't leave us alone. You know, when all eyes were on Gaza, we were criticizing Israel. They were criticizing Israel. It's like, hey, we're both criticizing Israel.
Guys, everything he's saying is something that any idiot with one drop of common sense, hey, while we were focusing on a common enemy, we were fine being on the same side. But now that things are dying down and our attention is changing, we realize we don't get along very well. Oh my goodness! Great insights here, Sneako.
I think Nick Fuentes listens to Kendrick Lamar. But the thing is, he mentioned one thing, which is that he attacks white people. Pretty sure what he means there by Sneako attacking white people. Pretty sure what he means there is just that Sneako started having this rant about how white nationalism and white supremacy and all that, and racial pride, racism, that it's all nonsense and it's all BS and all that. He had a rant about that. So he didn't attack white people. He just denounced and ridiculed and attacked white nationalism, which of course translates to him as attacking white people. That's seemingly what's going on.
In fact, he points out that that's what Muslims end up complaining about white nationalists and stuff, or white supremacists or something like that. So it's, wait a minute, I thought we're going to be going after the Jews and we're all going to be on the same side, but these guys have a problem with white supremacists. What's going on here, Sal? This isn't going to work out, guys. All right, here we go.
But you know what I wonder sometimes?
Oh, what's up?
If Jesus came and stood next to Nick Fuentes, and Nick Fuentes talked to him about the things that he's proud of and what he's fighting for right now. And I just want a white nation, and I don't want to mix with these sand beep and these other ones, and coming and doing this and this and that. We're Christians, and we're supposed to be white, a white nation. I really wonder if Jesus would react to that with happiness and pride and say, "My child, you're doing a fantastic job. You're doing exactly what I would want from you. I'm proud.
Blessed are the white supremacists.
Blessed are the racists.
Blessed are the white supremacists, for theirs is the kingdom of America."
If Jesus was alive today, Nick Fuentes and his fans would probably make memes about Jesus and replace his face with that
frog,
with that Jew meme that goes like this, and they would mock Jesus like that.
They probably would. But here you have him. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Nick Fritos.
This is off of Israel. Now they can't stop attacking us. Muslims are always attacking white supremacists, white hillbillies, white this, white that, and Christians. They're giving us doubt.
He texts on Christians at the end. They're always talking about the white supremacists and the white hillbillies and the white nationalists and the white nationalists, and they're attacking all the white. Oh yeah, and Christians.
Wow, they're trying to convert us. And so it's just not a two-way street. It worked for a little while. It's not working anymore. So yeah, I'm not really feeling the love from a lot of them. And they come to you grinning. They want to be your best good friend, and then they're blasphemous. Then they're disrespectful. Then they're trying to convert you.
What in the world did you expect? What did you expect? Making an alliance with Muslims who are, as we all know, as anyone who knows Islam, who are, if they are religious, blasphemous from a Christian perspective, toward a Christian perspective. What in the world did you expect? These people are so dumb, man.
Yeah, Nick, I mean, seriously. It's the exact same thing with, like, Queers for Palestine, let's say, right? Like, suppose Queers for Palestine, we don't ever actually want you to come under the control of the people you're aligned with, because they will freaking execute you. That's what they will do if they ever get their way, right? But if that happened, I can imagine you guys going, we thought that since we were working with them, that they would support us and never actually go with what Islam says. You had the exact thing happen up in Hamtramck, Michigan, right? They said the exact same thing. The people in the city said the exact same thing. We thought, since we were helping them and giving them everything they want and defending them against criticism, that they were going to return the favor. And all they did was then start saying, okay, no more LGBTQ stuff around here. We're like, what? What's going on? What did you expect? How did you not anticipate that? Are you stupid, right? And then here you have Nick, and it's like, hey, we're working with them. We're going against Gaza, and they got it turns out they got a problem with Christianity. Imagine that. Can you imagine that? These guys actually want to convert people, and they got a problem with Christians. Shocker. Wow.
Shock.
Hey, what would finding out the truth, which pill would finding out the truth about Islam be? Should we call that like green pill? Is there already a green pill? Is there a green pilled?
There probably isn't there? I don't know. I don't like the color green, so I'm happy with doing.
I'm just saying, all their green flags and stuff like that. But like, we could say, Nick, if that works, it seems like there's every color of every pill. So I don't know if that's already a thing. If it's not, then green pilled could be waking up to the reality of Islam. And Nick just got green pilled. We could say Nick just got green pilled.
I would like to say black pill, but there's already black pill is already a thing. It's kind of this, I think, this pessimistic, hopeless attitude, this darkness. The darkness.
Notorious Knives says black stone pill. All right, back to Nick.
Yeah, so that's kind of not friendly. So
It's not friendly to try and convert.
I think that whole arc is kind of over,
I
at
don't
least
like
for
it.
now. Maybe when the war in Gaza heats up again. And look, I never said we're bound to them for life. I said, look, we're both criticizing Israel. Let's work together.
Keep in mind, he's acknowledging he was actually forming the alliances. He said, I said, hey, we're both against what's going. Let's unite. Let's work together. Let's be on the same page. And then shocker, things aren't going the way I thought. But I mean, look at what he just said. When things heat up again, maybe we'll reestablish this alliance. So he knows it doesn't work. He knows it doesn't work. He knows they can't get along. But hey, if the Jews become this big issue again, we'll all unite temporarily again. He has like the same mentality as the Dawa guys, like exact same mentalities. Mutual manipulation and using each other. Interesting. Good basis for long-term relationships.
But clearly it's not a two-way street. So in light of that, I'm leaning out of that a little bit. May lean back in the future, but for now I'm leaning out.
Talking about leaning into Islam.
It's going to be a little obnoxious. You know, I'm chatting with my friend Sneako. It turns, he's giving me dawa. I don't want your fucking dawa. I don't want your fucking dawa. He's giving Nick dawa. So basically you're a Muslim. I'm not a fucking Muslim.
Listen to what he just said right there. Oh, but you're basically a Muslim. You're basically a Muslim. Guys, he's actually making fun of the Dawa script. And it's the same script. It's the same script they use about Jesus. They'll say, hey, did Jesus submit to the Father? Yeah. Oh, so he submitted to God. Yeah. Well, that's what Muslim means. He's a Muslim. Ha ha. And then he's pointing out Sneako has done the exact same thing with him. Well, you're a Catholic, yeah. So you believe in submitting to God, yeah. So you're a Muslim. You're a Muslim. You're a Muslim. You submit to God. See, that's what Muslim means. And he's literally like just completely mocking that entire Dawa approach. He's mocking the Dawa script right here. I'm gonna back this up because that was just funny.
This is kind of funny. I mean, if this guy wasn't the ultimate scumbag, I would totally clip that and use it.
All right. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. One of the rare times where we'll actually agree with Nick on something.
Out of that a little bit. May lean back in the future, but for now I'm leaning out because it's really it's going to be a little obnoxious. You know.
Oh, but yeah, I'm playing this again because Sneako's actually going to react to this. And he's going to start mocking in return.
Chat with my friend Sneako. It turns, he's giving me dawa. I don't want your fucking dawa. I don't want your fucking dawa. He's giving Nick dawa. So basically you're a Muslim. I'm not a fucking Muslim. I'm not, nor will I ever be a Muslim.
Never be. Never say never.
So thank you, but no thank you. You know, I feel like I'm at the pyramids. You see these videos where the guy goes to the pyramids and they're like, my friend, look, my friend, it's free. I give you this. It's like, get the fuck away from me. Get the fuck away from me. I don't want your beads. I don't want your fucking carpet. I don't want your dawa.
He's comparing dawa to like guys who try to sell you trinkets and stuff. If you go try to sell,
but it's actually accurate, isn't it?
It's
actually
it's a good analogy.
Yeah. It is quite similar. It is part of that culture to be like that, to be sneaky and to be a little bit Sneako, to be a little bit sneaky and to be a salesman like that, to approach you with this whole dishonest. Oh, my friend, this is only for you. This is special.
Yeah, this is a good deal. Good deal.
I will make
Just for you.
special
Just for you. You're my friend.
Only for you. Nobody else.
I like you.
Somebody
I like you.
wanted to buy this, but I didn't give them. I will give to you, and so on. It's like this whole attitude, which I always really thought was so slimy, but that is true, and he's actually making a good analogy there.
This is a good analogy. So Nick, as revolting as we find you, this is actually one of the best analogies you could come up with for what dawa seems like. It has the same kind of vibe to it. Like, oh, this is you. Hey, you're a Muslim. Yeah, you're a Muslim. Yeah, come on, be a Muslim. Just say this. Just say this. Just say this. Just say la ilaha. Just say this. Just say la ilaha illallah. You just say it. Just say that little part, right? So you just say it, right? Just buy this.
Nick,
just buy this. This for you. No, for you. For you, it's free.
Nick, I think that was pretty good insight. Pretty funny. That said, I still think that you could consider following in Hitler's example.
Why do you say these mean things? See, this is what agnosticism does to a person's mind, ladies and gentlemen. Nick, I advise you to turn away from your stupid, idiotic ideas and obsession with blaming Jews for everything that sucks about your life because you're a little dork.
It's just I can't. Even if I agree or laugh to something that somebody like this says, I have to remind myself of who this guy actually is, what he advocates for, what he believes in. It's not just a mere disagreement. It's unacceptable.
We're about to find out because he's gonna. I think he continues with this, with this trinket salesman type deal.
I want to see the pyramids. Now get away from me. You know, they come running up to you on a camel. Ah, it's free, my friend. It's free. Ah, my friend. Get the away from me. Okay? I don't want your dawa. I don't want your hat. All right, Malcolm X? I don't listen. I want your friendship. And I'm a respectful guy. I think I'm a respectful guy, but it's like enough already with the kid. I don't come to these people with the cross in their face saying, you know, maybe I should.
Hey, by the way, that's an interesting reaction that he just had there, right? He's saying, hey, I mean, think about what he's saying right there. He's saying, okay, I actually went to Sneako and all these guys, and I said, hey, why don't we work together? We all hate these Jews. Why don't we all work together? We can all hate the Jews together and work together at destroying Israel. And they're like, oh, what a great alliance of war. But then they keep blasting away at Christianity. They keep making videos blasting away at Christianity and keep trying to tell him to convert to Islam. And he's like, hey, wait a minute. I thought we had a ceasefire between ourselves so that we were all going to focus all our attention on Israel, but you guys I'm trying to go after the Jews and you guys are coming after me. Wait a minute. And then what did he say? He said, maybe I should be putting a cross in your face nonstop. I'm saying that because as revolting as this guy is, a lot of people have the same reaction in the sense that, oh, you guys are going to, wait, you guys think it's okay to keep throwing that stuff in my face? People in the West have been trained, no, don't bring this up, you're going to hurt people's feelings. You guys don't care about hurting people's feelings, so why would I care about hurting your feelings anymore? This is what the Dawa guys are doing, right? They're like, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to chop your heads off, ha, 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 ha. And then people start getting more aggressive when they talk about Islam, and the Dawa goes, whoa, what's going on here? You guys did that. So think about this. This is Nick Fuentes saying, hey, the Groyper relationship with the Muslim community is breaking down because of them. Guess what? That's what Islam keeps doing. It'll form these quick alliances and then destroy it. And you have all these people. You had Jordan Peterson, all these guys like holding out their arms. How can I help you? How can I help you Muslims get a pen pal? I'll just help you get a pen pal. I'll give you my platform. And the Dawa guys just keep burning everything to the ground. They burn every bridge anyone tries to form with them. And we're watching the burning of the bridge with the Groypers right in front of our faces.
That's what they do.
It's fun to watch.
You know, and I'm always willing to testify about my faith, but you recognize that sometimes it's easier to win people over if you don't come at them. You know, hi, nice to meet you. I'm going to change your religion. But that's how they are. And it's like, all right, already. But that's how they are.
So he thought he was going to win them over. he thought you were going to win the Muslim. You thought, hey, you thought that he was going to actually win them over by not being in their face. And so what? How is this going to happen, Nick? First of all, good little screenshot there for a thumbnail. Nick, you thought, hey, I'm going to unite with these Dawa guys, and then we're going to blast Israel. And once we get Israel off of that, these guys are going to convert to Christianity because I stayed out of their face the whole time, and they're going to respect that. What planet does this guy live on? Nick, this is destroying any confidence anyone might have in any of your research. If you were this absolutely clueless on like your tactics and so on and your strategies for the future, you got issues, man. You got issues.
Big issues.
Got big issues.
It's literally a trading post religion. It's like I said from the very beginning.
Trading post religion.
You know, they come up to you trying to shill their wares. You feel like you're at the Middle Eastern bazaar.
I wonder if he actually ever went to the Middle. If he ever went there.
But it's funny. He's talking about the Middle Eastern Bazaar, and like if you went to the Dearborn Arab Festival, there's like this big festival, and they're selling all this stuff, and they're selling falafel and stuff. But then there's like the Dawa guys there doing the exact same. But it's like the same vibe as far as like a Middle Eastern Bazaar. Hey, buy this, buy this, buy this. Oh, convert to Islam, convert to Islam. Good for you, good for you.
How about no? I don't buy your Allah.
I don't buy your Allah.
You're in there, they're wearing the hats. Look. And you're haggling over it. You are a Muslim. You are a Muslim, my friend. You are a Muslim. As it's like, okay, can you fucking stop? I'm not. You're walking through the bazaar. My friend is free. You are a Muslim. You are like, no, I'm not. And then they get real mad. Well, you're a white supremacist. All right already.
Yeah, they get mad at him over the white supremacy stuff.
I was looking for my cricket, my pet cricket.
Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't know what cricket was.
Go to the store, spend $3.99 on a can of insect spray, spray it around the room when you're gone, and it will eventually walk over it and die, and you will find a little cricket corpse down there.
But I like crickets.
I like crickets too, but they have to die. Any noise that interferes with a show has to be destroyed unless it's human.
That's true.
All right already. Drink your Zim-Zam water and get the out of my face, okay?
He didn't call it Zam-Zam water. He called it Zim-Zam water. That's funny. Let's go back. This is the end of the clip. His Zim-Zam water remark, but Zim-Zam water.
Already. Drink your Zim-Zam water and get the out of my face, okay?
Yeah.
Take your Zim-Zam in your pajamas and get the out of my face. I'm a Catholic. All right? We didn't have to, it didn't start out this way.
That's true, it didn't.
I didn't want it to be like this.
We just wanted to be united against the Jews.
I was one of the only ones sticking up for the Muslims still. And, they're shoving it in my face. I'm like, man, come on now.
They ruined it. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, they ruined it.
That's what their attitude is. That's what they are all about. It's like if you show them a little bit of sympathy, they'll be like, oh yeah, let me tell you more about Islam. Let me tell you more about this. And it's actually a wonderful religion. You might want to convert to Islam. How about, are you ready to convert? Repeat after me. That's basically the attitude. You can't make an alliance. It doesn't work that way. The funny thing is, the bad thing is, whenever Nick Fuente mentions that he is a Catholic or a Christian, I cringe a little bit. And I know that there are lots of Catholics out there and lots of Christians out there who, when this guy mentions it, they cringe too. And it's pretty bad. There's nothing Christian, nothing Catholic about these guys.
Here you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the agnostic apostate prophet, openly declaring who is and who is not a true Catholic. Change your name to the apostate pope.
I'm hereby excommunicating Nick Fuentes.
All right, guys. So we saw Nick's remarks there. Sneako's actually going to react to that. I got a short clip from Sneako. I just pulled this off Twitter because it was circulating that Sneako reacting to that. So it may have been a much longer reaction. I don't know. I got the clip. So we're going to check that out in just a second. We'll take a couple super chats and then we will check out Sneako's reaction to the Zim-Zam water remark. And Sneako is not pleased with that. David, thoughts on Reformed theology? Well, I'm not Reformed. And it's like lots of other positions in that I can see certain things and go, hey, you got a good point. But I see some issues as well. And so it would be coming to some sort of official decision. I'd have to do a ton of research and never gotten there yet. We need someone to debate Candace with facts. That would be a good idea.
We do.
And Gabe here said something similar. Says, I really want to see an AP versus Candace debate.
I doubt that it will ever happen, but I would like to. I think I'm going to reach her through some channels and offer it and see what happens. But I'm pretty sure it's never going to happen. So
I'll tell you what to do. Get back to making regular videos. Your subscribers will go through the roof again, and then you'll get to 1 million followers, and then you can say, hey, I have 1 million followers. Why won't you debate me, you chicken? Are you chicken? Candace is yet another foreign migrant leeching off the hard-working native Brits, said.
yeah.
Very
Probably
rude.
eating.
She married you guys, and she married a guy who was friends from his youth with Andrew Tate, and that explains a lot of things about Candace.
Candace.
Let's see. I liked what Christian Prince said about Christ is King phrase. Christ is more than a king. He is the King of Kings. That's true. AP is secretly in love with Candace. The Jews did it.
Yeah.
David, how dare you disrespect Allah? Allah will punish you. Allahu Akbar. I didn't. Just to be clear, I didn't disrespect Allah. It didn't happen.
Allah is making noises somewhere on the ground here.
We believers know that God can change people, like Paul, who persecuted Christianity, then became its greatest preacher. Pray that Candace changes. Yes, we would like to see all the people who are saying and doing horrible things to change.
Now, I know this is I know that you might want to have a more optimistic perspective, but there is a lot of, personality has a lot of influence on how a person actually acts in life, early and later on. You could have somebody who commits a lot of atrocities because they genuinely and passionately believe in them, but then they change and they become a better person. With Candace Owens, she is such a dishonest person, and we have seen it again and again. I have seen it again and again. I have confronted her and shown her facts. Others have shown her facts. She simply disregards them and blocks them and acts like she didn't see it and then continues lying. This is simply not a person who is actually after truth, who has no integrity, who has no loyalty to truth. So I don't expect her to really change much. But yeah.
Owens equals good example of how far you can go by speaking confidently and sounding smart when in reality you have no clue what you're talking about. It is a dangerous feature of the world that it's the same thing you have with the Dawa guys. As long as you sound confident, you will appeal to a lot of people. Well, guess what? It doesn't just work for the Dawa guys, right? You can do this exact same thing, spout a bunch of idiotic nonsense. And it's similar to like the 99-1 rule that I talk about in Islam, like the Zakir Naiks of the world. They would spout something that is complete idiotic nonsense to anyone who knows, like who has any background in what what someone like Zakir Naik's talking about. But guess what? If 99% of your audience has no clue that you're spouting nonsense to them, but you sound like you know what you're talking about, that's all that matters. You convince the mob, who can then go shout other people down. But it's the same thing with Candace, right? When she's talking about and the Frankists and blah, 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 and they're eating the little kids or whatever she's saying. Guess what? How many people are actually going to do the slightest bit of research and look this stuff up? None. Very, very few. Well, guess what? Then a ton of people just walked away with some massively disturbing ideas.
I mean, she was a right-wing diversity hire, basically serving simply as a token black person. Sorry to say it, but that's
Did you hear that? Truth. AP just said black people can't be conservative.
That's it.
Gabe says, my favorite thing is telling white supremacists and anti-Semites that Jesus is Jewish.
They hate it.
Oh, here you go. David, at this point, use the Muhammad hijab voice to impersonate everyone, even atheists and groypers. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Basically, anyone who is using kind of the same approach as the Dawa guys, even if it's someone else. Yeah, if I have someone specific in mind, I'll imitate that person. But yeah, I have realized that I just start using my hijab chest thumping voice to imitate pretty much anyone who is doing something similar. My fellow viewers constantly make jokes about Candace, but if the Democrats win this election cycle, you can be sure there won't be any of these to watch. What? If Democrats win this election cycle, there won't be any of these to watch. Candace will be probably even more popular. Because you're gonna everyone who's blasting away at whatever the new thing is going to have a ton of viewers. Welcome, new chatter. Haitian Jew Grampy.
Yeah.
Haitian Jew Grampy. Pray and fast for a Trump victory. I'm not going to pray and fast for a Trump victory. What are you talking about? I think we're screwed no matter what happens, and that putting your confidence in politicians is not going to work. At best, those are little band-aids here and there. It's like, we need this band-aid. I'm thinking, you guys are in trouble no matter what you do. Guys, it comes down to the population. If you have a massively divided population that is trying to destroy the very fabric of society, you can elect whoever you want. You're kind of screwed if that's going on. So point is, Kamala's an empty vessel that's currently being filled with any insane idea and so on. Yep, you are totally screwed. But I don't think you're fixing anything with politicians at this point. You got to fix the population. You got to fix the population, ladies and gentlemen, or you're not going to win with politicians.
Obviously, democracy failed, so maybe it's time to just move on. You know?
Oh, that's in the future too. Guess what? Founding fathers said that they told you that would happen. They said this is not going to work. This is not going to work. They said you need a virtuous. John Adams said moral and religious. This will only work for a moral and religious people. But the other founding fathers, they were constantly emphasizing virtue. Their idea was, if you take a bunch of human beings that are just all doing whatever they feel like doing, they have to be controlled from outside. They have to be controlled. And that's where a tyrant is going to come in and control them. They thought, well, if you get to a point where you have a basically virtuous people and you have a framework in society that is constantly encouraging the next generation to be a virtuous people, then people are controlled from within. If you are controlled from within, you don't need this. You don't need to be crushed externally to keep you in line. You're in line from within, right? But they said, if you lose that, it's going to fall apart. It's going to break apart. It's not going to work. And so right now we have basically said, we'll just become as screwed up as possible, and then we'll just continue on as if this is all going to work out. It's not. That's what I'm saying to you. I'm saying putting your hope in some politician when you already have the breakdown of society in front of your face. They told you exactly how it would work. The guys who put together our government told you exactly what would tear it apart. And then we did exactly what they said would tear it apart. And we're saying, if we just elect the right leader. No, got to fix the population, guys. Got to fix the population.
This is exactly what black pilled means.
That's what that means?
Yeah. Things have gone too far and are going to get out of hand. There is no hope. It's not going to get better.
No, I'm not saying it's not going to get better or that there's no hope. I'm saying that is the wrong place to put your hope. The place to put your hope right now is people seeing, wow, we thought this would, it's exactly what Thomas Sowell said. He said, and he said this in the 90s. He said, we spent the past few decades replacing what worked with what sounds good. And so the only hope for the future is people realizing, wait a minute, we need to actually do what works and not just what sounds good to a bunch of morons. And that is the path forward. But yeah, in other words, guys, you think, well, what? But this politician would do it. Yes, this politician could do a better job than that person. And that politician could be better than this one and so on. I'm saying if your mindset is that, get the right politician in place, you're already screwed.
Trump will not save the world. He didn't save it the first time. He will not save it the second time. In fact, not much is going to change. And every single time, every term, every election, there's always the same conversation. Oh, if the other side gets elected, then this is the end of America as we know it. If my side gets elected, then things are going to change for the better. People have been saying the same thing for the last 50 elections. So, yeah.
Yep. So that's how it works. That's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they do. Raisin Bread says, AP, how's your training as a Southern Baptist preacher going these days? I have been inspired by your Southern accent. I am trying to get one.
Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm working on it. Every day I practice in front of a mirror, at least 1 hour. So it's going quite well.
That's good. That's good. It's good you're practicing. Allah needs you. Turn to a lodge. A lodge? Who's a lodge?
What's a lodge, man?
What's a lodge? Is that like a lodge?
Lodge. Who the F is lodge?
Cam says, Trump needs to come out to save the goats from Pakistan. Yeah, do you know they're eating the goats? Literally.
They're eating the goats.
Yeah, after they do other stuff to them. It's gross. My family turned to Allah because of you. That's what they do. That's what we're here for. I hate these weirdo anti-Semitic Christians and pray they go away, but the scenes of Palestinian children in distress emboldens their cause. Guess what? Hamas knew that. Hamas knew that. We'll go slaughter a bunch of people. People will be upset about that for 10 seconds until Israel starts responding, and then people are just going to blast social media with, look at this, look at this, look at this, right? They knew that. We slaughter a bunch of people, then we run and hide among civilians and hide under schools and hide under kids' rooms and stuff like this, and then we post pictures of what happens afterwards, and that helps turn the tide. They understood that. Yeah,
Hamas didn't think for a second that they're actually going to win this when they announced that they're starting this major operation and that this will bring the end of the Zionist entity and all that. The entire goal of it was to use deaths as a as a card against the enemy, and also to rile up other Muslim nations and to start a major war in the region. And Yahya Sinwar, halfway through the war, said. He's now the leader, actually, the political leader. He said, "We have Israel exactly where we want them." While people around the world are talking about, no, there's oppression, they're going to be genocided, this is genocide, please help. The leader of Hamas stood there and said, we have them exactly where we want them. This is exactly what we want to do. We should just stall it and keep having them bomb our population so that we can push them and press them more and more and more. Of course, they're also afraid on one side that Israel is just not going to listen to anybody this time, and just going to go through and finish Hamas and take over and not give them any kind of autonomy anymore. But this is exactly the plan. They have been saying this forever, for years, that they want to they want to happily sacrifice their own population, and that what the Gazan population does best is to become martyrs. These are words by Ismail Haniyeh. It's just so messed up, man. It's a child sacrifice cult.
Yeah, and I have to say, if the rest of the world didn't react in the way that Hamas knows they'll react, this would have already been over. They wouldn't. In other words, they wouldn't keep trying it. In other words, when Hamas crosses that border, it's because they understand how the world's going to react. They understand how the world's going to react when Israel retaliates. They know it. They know it. They know the protests are coming. They know screaming against they know it's coming, right? If when they ran across the border, slaughtered a bunch of people, raped and tortured a bunch of people, took a bunch of hostages, if the entire world says, all right, we know what you're doing, and it's deliberate. We know you're going to go hide behind kids and hide under schools and stuff like that, hide under hospitals. We know what you're going to do. And just so you know, we're not falling for it. We know this is about to be horrible. We know it's about to be horrible, but we cannot feed into it. We cannot feed into this because that encourages you to keep doing the same thing in the future. So we're not protesting for you. We're not doing any of that. It's not going to. Guess what? They'd stop doing it if Hamas didn't get the exact reaction they want from the world. They wouldn't be doing that sort of thing. They would come up with a different tactic.
Yeah.
So you encourage the tactic. Oh, hey, what? Hey, you got something here? You got
Somebody
the name
here asked, goat pill. Oh,
goat pilled.
Goat pill.
When you find out the truth about Islam, we call it goat pill.
Somebody said, so it's all okay then what Israel is doing, talking to the red shirt host. Thank you for the question, dear brown shirt viewer. I will say, of course, it's not everything that a state or a government or a military does is therefore okay. Remember Iraq. Remember the American Iraq War.
And we were just talking about this with Churchill. We're saying people say, "Oh, Churchill was as bad as Hitler." No. You can say Churchill was wrong about this, or he did this messed up thing, or this really cost a lot of lives, and Churchill made a really, really terrible, terrible decision. And you can say tons of people who were under Churchill during a war did all sorts of messed up things. And you could say, hey, the bombing of Dresden was wrong. They went too far. You could say all of those things. And you could say all of that and still say, we are really glad that he stood up and didn't back down, and he was ready to fight to the death to stop the Nazis. You could say all of that, and you could say the exact same thing with Israel. You could say they did this wrong, they did that wrong, he made a bad decision here, but you still have to crush Hamas. You still have to crush them.
Yeah. That's the thing. Israel is not the side that is responsible for the conflict as it has been going on so far. Israel was the side that from the very beginning, multiple times, said, let's just coexist. Let's just declare freedom. Israel was the side that actually fought for freedom. They said, let us establish our freedom. Let's live together side by side. It was the other side that since the early 1900s has been violent and aggressive, and then afterwards has been crying every single time. It's the other side that still is fighting, that still will not listen to reason, that still commits all kinds of atrocities and then plays the victim. Israel, of course, not everything that Israel does is good, but Israel is forced to fight because the other side asks for it. If the other side didn't ask for it, Israel wouldn't be fighting. So stop complaining about what Israel does.
No, you stop complaining. AP got goat pilled. All right, we got more super chats, but we want to go ahead and watch Sneako's response to Nick Fuentes. This one's a pretty short clip, but then Nick reacts to Sneako's reaction and promises severe punishment in the future when the Groypers take over the country. So let's see here. What do we have? Now we have Sneako versus Nick. So here's his
Drink
response.
your Zim Zam water and get the out of my face, okay?
Eating communion. Eating the body of Christ and drinking Jesus' blood, talking about Zamzam water. All right, bro, I'll drink my water. You drink your blood. Halas.
Take your Zim Zam and your pajamas and get the out of my face. I'm a Catholic. All right. We didn't have to. It didn't start out this way.
Eat your cannibal and eat your cannibal crackers. Eat your fucking human God.
So that's the entire clip that was shared on Twitter. So I don't know how long this went on or something like this, but I think that's interesting. All Nick said was he said, drink your Zim Zam water. Sneako instantly started mocking like the Catholic view of communion. That's interesting. Went right for that. Let's watch that one more time. So again, guys, what you have on the screen, you see Sneako down the corner. He's watching the same video that we just watched and reacting to it. And he reacts to the Zim Zam water with what Nick Fuentes is going to call blasphemy and promise stern punishment for. But here you go again.
Drink your Zim Zam water and get the out of my face, okay?
Eating communion. Eating the body of Christ and drinking Jesus' blood, talking about Zamzam water. All right, bro, I'll drink my water. You drink your blood. Halas.
Take your Zim Zam.
What?
Continue. I'll comment.
Pajamas and get the out of my face. I'm a Catholic. All right. We didn't have to. It didn't start out this way.
Eat your cannibal and eat your cannibal crackers. Eat your fucking human God crackers.
Eat your human God crackers and drink your God blood.
Human God. Well, so many things, but I just want to point one thing out, which is Sneako said, halas. Halas is Arabic for all right, okay. The thing is,
Now he speaks
nev-
like, now he speaks, he picked.
I never said halas in my entire life, and I was a Muslim for most of my life. I lived around Muslims. Nobody that I knew ever said halas. These guys who convert to Islam thanks to certain Muslims and their dawah, they join them in suddenly beginning to speak Arabic. It's not even.
Oh, Habibi, come on, ya akhi, ya akhi.
It's not part of the religion. It's not something that you say in prayer. It's not
Yalla.
something that is part of Islam. It's simply Arabic speaking. Why would you like Muslims around the world don't do that when they grew up in Islam in a non-Arabic culture? This is just so weirdly strange. So when some people say that Sneako is basically selling out his own culture and adopting a different culture here, they have a point here. So it's weird, man. But calling it a human god and human god cracker, human god cannibal cracker, things like that, it's just he is the one who is on the offensive here, who preaches to Nick Fuentes and others. Nick then says, you know what? Stop it. I don't want your dawa. I don't want your effing dawa. I don't want your effing Zamzam water and all that. He's like, okay, then F your cannibal cracker. Why are you offended, man? You are the one who is aggressive here.
But it's weird because they are sort of mocking each other's religions, and yet you can kind of tell they're still friends. They're still buddies, and they still do streams together. And so they're trying to keep the alliance together against the Jews.
The Juden.
But I mean, think about this. They're so focused on blasting away at Jews that you can sit there, they can actually like completely just mock each other's religious beliefs and so on. It's like, your religion's stupid. No, your religion's stupid. No, you're blasphemous. No, you're blasphemous. No, you're a pagan. No, you're a pagan. Truce, though, while we go after the Jews, right? Yeah, we're good. We're good going after the Jews. That's what unites us. All right, let's jump into the next clip. We have Sneako. No, we have Nick reacting. We have Nick reacting to Sneako's reaction. No, actually what you have is David and AP reacting to Nick Fuentes, reacting to Sneako, reacting to Nick. I don't know how long this can keep up.
That's pretty good.
Sneako goes off. Face, okay?
Eating communion. Eating the...
Drink your Zimzam water and get the out of my face, okay? The Zimzam.
He's actually laughing at himself.
Is he laughing at himself?
Yeah, he's got Sneako covered up. So he's watching Sneako's version, but Sneako would be down in the corner, but he's using the same software. So he's down in the bottom corner, covering Sneako up. But let me back it up because he's cracking.
It's so funny. It's like you're watching yourself and you're like, you hear these guys. These guys. Look at that.
It is funny. It is funny people cracking up at themselves.
Goes off. Face, okay?
Eating communion. Eating the...
Drink your Zimzam water and get the out of my face, okay? The Zimzam. Oh, I'm so the goat for that, right?
He called himself
my
the goat
friend.
for that.
Eating communion.
Hey, we called it goat pilled, and he said he's the goat for that. That's interesting. He agrees that it should be called goat pilled. But...
Goat for that, right? My friend.
Eating communion. Eating the body of Christ.
Blasphemy.
And drinking Jesus' blood, talking about Zamzam water.
Blasphemy.
All right, bro, I'll drink my water. You drink your blood. Halas.
I will. Take your Zimzam and your pajamas and get the out of my face. I'm a Catholic. All right. We didn't have to. It didn't start out this way.
Eat your cannibal and eat your cannibal crackers.
Okay, this guy's.
Oh, it's interesting. So that's from Sneako updates. There, he's watching the same video that I played for Sneako's reaction. So, all right, so that's where that came from. All right, so let's get now. We've got Nick's going to react to that. He's gone through that clip, but here he goes.
Okay, this guy's a blasphemer. When we create the confessional state, he will pay for that. He will pay for those remarks. I swear. You know, where Catholics aren't supposed to take, oaths to God. But we're going to let him stay. But I swear, when there's a Catholic confessional state, he will pay for his blasphemy. On God. When we
Hey.
This is so pathetic, man.
Dude,
I mean,
yeah, I can't figure out. See, if he were saying this, if an intelligent person were saying, yeah, when I get my Catholic confessional state and I get my white nationalist, white supremacist, Catholics only state, but I guess Sneako's going to be there. He says Sneako's going to be there, so I guess Catholics, white Catholics dominating everything. When I get this, then we're going to punish him. And it's like, I would assume you're joking. I would assume you're joking. Like, you can't be that delusional. But for years, there were these guys who were always standing outside of post offices with these signs saying that LaRouche is going to be the next president and so on. They'd be handing out all these pamphlets. And these guys were dead serious. These guys, LaRouche is going to be the next president. It was like, dude, this is years ago and stuff. It'd be like, dude, the election is in like 9 months. The election's in 9 months. This is the first time I've heard about this guy. And you think that you guys standing outside of post offices, somehow you're gonna completely overcome this two-party system that we have in the U.S. You're gonna get this third-party candidate that most people never even heard of, and whose only idea is some train that goes around the entire world. And you guys seriously, they are dead serious. They think that their guy's gonna actually win. And you have Nick, and he'll show up to one of his rallies, and everyone, he's going to be, even Sneako said he's going to be president of the United States, and so on. And so you just, I'm like 70% sure. What do you guys think? Let me do a poll here, because I'm like 70% sure 70 to 80% sure he's joking, and he knows this is like totally hopeless that they're going to get this, but I don't know, because it turns out there are people who are that delusional.
It's just, I mean, from your perspective, I'm kind of conflicted as well, because it must be a joke that he can't be serious about this for so many different reasons. Number one, don't you guys realize that your perspective is completely unpopular in America and around the world, in the Christian world? You're not going to get anywhere. People are not going to support you. Secondly, what Catholic most Catholics, the vast majority of Catholics, would consider you heretical in your views. The Catholic Church considers you heretical, and you know that. You declare the Catholic Church to be heretical. So why would you even try to grift off of Catholicism? It's not going to work. You're not going to win Catholics over. You have so many Catholics who are not white, or who are of different skin colors, different backgrounds.
Vast majority of Catholics in the world are not white.
Yeah. It's like this is such a dumb, such a pathetic, weird thing to do. The only way this would work would be that that a tiny minority, probably like 1% of the American population, would start a movement and would somehow try to forcibly take over the government and install a fascist state or something like that. Which keep dreaming.
Yeah. So let me replay that little part right there when he says it. When we get our, because that's, I don't know. Again, I think he's joking. He doesn't really believe this. But when you have these gripers, he's going to be president and stuff, it's like, wait, are you guys just saying that because it's fun to say it, or you actually?
Oaths to God. But we're going to let him stay. But I swear, when there's a Catholic confessional state, he will pay for his blasphemy. On God. When we take over, when there's a Catholic monarchy in America, can stay because he's my friend, but he will pay for those remarks. He
already said, he said he can stay because he's my friend, but he will pay for those. He will pay for what he just said. He will pay for his blasphemy.
America, he can stay because he's my friend, but he will pay for those remarks. There will be lashes. There will be lashes. Maybe we'll cut out his tongue. I don't know. That's what they do. Catholics aren't really brutal like that because we're good people. But there will be lashes.
Catholics are good people. You are not, Nick. Catholics are indeed good people.
Are you saying that's why they're not going to cut out his tongue?
Yeah, you are certainly not. So, yeah.
Wow, this is actually interesting. It's almost 50-50 on whether people think he's serious or not with the Catholic monarchy and so on. Guys, keep in mind. Yeah, It's not whether we're actually going to get a Catholic. It's like, does he actually believe that? Like, does he think that's actually true? And people are basically like close to 50-50. It's 53% say so far, yes, he really believes it. So that's pretty even. But let's see where he goes with this.
Well, maybe not lashes. That might be racist if there were lashes. We won't do lashes. Maybe we'll do something else. We can't whip him because he's black. We can't whip him. There will not be, never mind. There won't be lashes. That would be somewhat racist if we were whipping him because he is black. So we'll have to do.
So wait, so is Sneako immune to all the penalties in Islam that call for lashes because he's part black? Is that what Nick is? I mean, no, I mean, I guess that's not how Nick, but I mean, if he thinks it's actually racist to lash someone, so would Sneako be immune? Like if he committed fornication or something like that? Which we know he does.
Somebody pointed out earlier. Somebody asked earlier, why would he be heretical? I'm pretty sure, or I was pretty sure, from what I see and from his statements and his political beliefs and all that, that Nick Fuentes would not recognize the authority of the Pope, right? Or the authority of the Pope after, I don't know, after the Second World War Pope or the Second Vatican
He
Council.
would. I actually saw a clip about it. He's saying he would recognize his input. He's saying he's saying he would respect the Pope's input.
Really?
Yep.
Wow. Okay, that doesn't make any sense.
I saw that in a separate clip, and I was like, "There's no way we're going to get through all this," because this was on Sneako's channel. They're having a live stream together. I think it was 3 days ago or something like that.
Wait a minute. So Nick Fuentes, and those who know the details of this actually inform me, because this makes no sense to me at all right now. So Nick Fuentes actually recognizes the current Pope as a valid Pope and respects him, because if he does, then he should be recognizing the validity and the authority of the of Vatican II, which is completely not in line with his views on Jews and their collective responsibility for Jesus and all that.
Keep in mind, he said that because Sneako asked him, "So what are you? If you guys get this place, are you gonna listen to the Pope?" And he's like, "Of course." So I don't know if he's specifically saying we would listen to this Pope, or if he's like fully delusional. No, we would have a Pope that I agree with, and we're going to listen to that Pope. So I don't know what he was actually talking about, but he was saying yes, he would respect the authority of the Pope. Okay, not again. I don't know if he's talking about this particular Pope or some imaginary Pope in the future.
The Second Council, the Second Vatican Council is binding. So if he respects the Vatican and if he doesn't reject the authority, then he should be abiding by what the Vatican rules. And I mean, we should probably go through that, or somebody should go through it and point out the hypocrisy here. But his views, his thoughts about Christian monarchy and separatism and oppression of others, and especially the Jews and how evil they are and so on, this is completely in contradiction with the rulings and of the Vatican.
Why is the agnostic one educating everyone on what Catholicism is, and two, deciding who is and who is not a Catholic, as you've done?
I guess that the situation is so pathetic that an agnostic understands Catholicism better than Nick Fuentes, who claims to be a Catholic.
That's pretty weird. Or does he understand it so well that you can't even grasp his brilliance on this topic? Yeah, you don't know. All right. A few more seconds of Nick deciding how to punish Sneako for his blasphemy.
We'll have to do something else. But he will pay for when there is a Catholic confessional state, he will pay for the blasphemy. He can stay. He'll get paddled. He'll get paddled. Waterboarded, maybe, since he's...
He might like getting paddled. I don't
know. It is what it is. No, but we love... It's a little banter. It's a little banter, everybody. I love Sneako. Okay. I love Sneako. He's a good guy. I think he has a good heart. I'm giving him a hard time, but the blasphemy, there will be a penalty. And it won't be personal. It's just business.
Did you catch that? It's just business. It's just business. So that's interesting. See, he's saying, hey, it's just banter. I love him. He gets to stay because he's my friend. So these guys are friends. This is actually interesting. I mean, it's an interesting relationship in that they can be completely mocking each other's religious beliefs and get along by being united of their goal of wiping out Jews. So that's interesting. You have to wonder though how Sneako's Muslim Dawa handlers can kind of let him get away with that, right? Because I mean, you got the Zimzam, go drink your Zimzam water. That's kind of, they can let him slide on that. It's not terribly serious there, but you have all these. Surah 5 verse 51. Do not take the Jews and the Christians for friends; they are friends of each other. You have these commands, which there are exceptions. You go to Surah 3 verse 28. It's don't take unbelievers as friends unless you fear something from them. So you can, if it's convenient for the ummah, if it's convenient for the Muslim community, you can make friendships and alliances and so on with unbelievers. You have to wonder, does this actually fit? Is this actually a situation where that would justify, hey, we're uniting with a guy who says, don't give me that stupid dawa nonsense. I don't want your dumb Zimzam water and all that. He's saying all this. He's saying all these things. But he really hates Jews. So is the hatred of Jews enough to consider it okay to make friendships with these guys out of convenience, although long term you're definitely not allowed to be friends with them?
All right, so I now understand. I didn't know where Nick stands on the whole Pope issue.
Oh, you did a little research? Did a little research here?
Which is why because I assumed that he must be rejecting the authority of the Pope and holding the vacant seat position. I'm seeing a clip right now where he actually blasts people who criticize the Pope, and some of the lines here are, so when a Pope does something you like, then they praise him, and when he does something they don't like, then they try to lecture him and talk about the Pope or about Francis, and he says, "That's Pope Francis to you." And then he continues, and basically he says, I don't agree, of course, with everything he does, but he is the representative of Christ on earth, and he is the king above all of the monarchs. That's what he says. So this makes no sense to me. This is why I guess I was considering inviting some Catholic people, authorities, actually, some people who have that I was in a spaces with several weeks ago, who talked about Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens and the whole current so-called Catholic trend of hating Jews among these very few Catholics, and they were saying that this is completely out of line and not in line with the church, and that the church would never accept their points of view in their fold. And I did ask around and found that some of them would probably join me for a discussion. So I think I should probably invite one of those people and have a conversation about Nick Fuentes and about this whole new fascist trend. That would be interesting.
That would be interesting. It would be interesting topic. Take a couple super chats here, and then we're going to launch right into Nick versus Candace. Nick versus Candace. Nick Fuentes is funded by Soros and employed by DHS. I have no idea if this is a joke or not, but I used to think all this stuff, because we joke about we got the shekels coming in and stuff like that. I always thought that all this stuff about, this person's only saying this because they're getting funded. But then all the Lauren Chen stuff comes out where it's like $10 million from Russia and stuff like that. I'm like, wait, is this stuff actually going on? You actually have? Now, keep in mind, I know that you had people doing this, but as far as hey, we'll give you $10 million to say this list of talking points over and over again, and people do that stuff. It was like, wait, these just YouTubers that we see all the time, these guys just getting millions of dollars to do what's, to be puppets for some foreign government and stuff like that. Anyway, yeah. Then you wonder Jake Shields and all these other guys, who's someone that just handing them piles of cash.
The funny thing is that people like you and me are accused of working for different governments and stuff, and we are just barely struggling here. We are struggling to make content and to finance it and all that. And then you have these people out there who, in front of everybody's eyes, are apparently being paid massive amounts of dollars. The files show that she was that they sent her so Russian representatives sent her a total of $10 million.
Must be nice.
The funny thing is, there are always lots of discussions about Russian influence and this and that. But see, in the case of Lauren Shen, when it was actually there and when the government was able to go after it, they quickly went after it and gathered all of the evidence and did their research and presented it to the public. And there it is now. We all know it. So it's very, very interesting.
Powerful, powerful stuff. It's a cool world we live in, ladies and gentlemen.
If I was financed by Israel, I would have some bug spray or something to get rid of these crickets.
Yeah, we can't even get rid of a cricket, guys. We can't even get rid of a cricket. You think Netanyahu's sending us fat checks and so on? And look, what does AP have to do? He has to get up 15 times in every live stream to hunt for a cricket, and he can't even find it. That's incompetence. I mean, if we were balling like people think we were balling, he would have Mossad assassinating that cricket. That's how we'd be rolling. Anyway, Drew here says they should team up with the Queers for Palestine if they have the same problem. He'll fit in as a secret agent. Now, this is saying that Nick would do a great job teaming up with Queers for Palestine. Yeah, he would definitely make a great secret agent there. That is true indeed. I don't like your... Oh, this is for AP. I'll save that one. This is telling AP to clip. I don't like your... People are telling you to clip the... I don't like your effing Dawa clip. They're telling you to have that as a clip for, I guess, for your little soundboard even. Guess that would work even on your soundboard. And you could combine it with Jordan Peterson. How about no? I don't like your...
If it wasn't Nick Fuentes, I would clip it. Because it's Nick Fuentes, I can't.
It does suck. It does suck that it's him saying it. Anyone else, it would have been hilarious. Well, it's still hilarious when he did it, but it's not something we want to use and act like we're on the same side. Muhammad is in the Torah, Exodus 6:21. There is nothing in Exodus 6 that you could point to. 6:21, the sons of Izhar were Korah, Nepheg, and Zikri. Trying to figure out what's going on here. Powerful, powerful Dawa. Ayatollah says, Nick Fuentes' Egyptian salesman routine is still far inferior to Don Rickles, owned by the Jews yet again. Yet Don Rickles better. Ayatollah says, Nick Fuentes, an outed homosexual and Catholic. I thought I would win the Dawa guys over. I thought I was going to be the next Dihya El-Kalbi in this Dawa sandwich. This is amazing. Yeah, it is. This is fun stuff. Fun stuff to watch. Ayatollah says, take your Zimzam water and get out of my face, girl. I'm Catholic. That is what he basically said. AP, leave some Zimzam water out for the cricket so he can receive wisdom and become like Jiminy Cricket to your Pinocchio.
Inshallah, I will do that. I can't even find the cricket. I don't know where it is. That's kind of funny. They have interest.
Could you guys explain Quran 548? Muslims say this verse shows you need to use the Quran as a criterion over the Gospels and Torah. Tanzil, go to Answering Islam and look this up. Can't break it all down now. That's a long. It's the explanation requires a bit, and we don't want to do it. I would be happy to go into this when we're talking about the Islamic dilemma, but going through the verse and through the commentaries on what that means. There's no way what the Dawa guys, there's no way it means what they say when they try to use that as a response. There's a 0% possibility that it's saying what they are. So they're saying that, it says criterion here, which, I mean, you go to a bunch of different translations, they'll even translate that differently. But they'll say this is saying that the Quran is a criterion and you have to go to the Torah and the Gospel and find the parts that line up with the Quran and so on. When you read that in context, all it's saying is that when people try to veer away, keep in mind, guys, this is after 543, that's after 547, then you have 548. 543, Jews try to go to Muhammad to let him decide a case instead of going to the Torah. What does Allah say? Why are they coming to you when they have the Torah? Go back to the Torah, or they're in rebellion. And then what actually happens in that case, as far as in the hadith, is that's when Muhammad gets off the judgment cushion, says, bring me the Torah, brings the Torah. Jews bring the Torah out there, and he says, I believe in you and in the one who revealed you, puts the Torah on the judgment cushion. The Torah is your judge, right? And then a few verses later, Christians judge by the gospel. It's a command. If any do fail to judge by the light of what Allah hath revealed, they are no better than those who rebel. And then the next verse says that the Quran is a protector or criterion or whatever over the previous revelations. What does that mean? In context, it means when you try to avoid going back there, the Quran says, no, you're not escaping going with what your book says. All Muhammad's ever going to do is send you right back to your book. That's what he's going to do. And they'll say, oh, this is saying the previous scripture has been corrupted. Then the entire chapter makes no sense at all. It makes no sense at all. Oh, by the way, there's a minority position on what that's saying. That when it's talking about the protector or the criterion, that it's not talking about the Quran, it's talking about Muhammad. And it's talking about Muhammad being a protector over the Quran. So if Muslims actually want to say that the word used there means that you're correcting the errors, then it would be Muhammad correcting the errors in the Quran, if they want to say that's what the word means. In other words, so people are saying that the relationship, this is talking about the Quran's relationship with these earlier scriptures, right? There are Muslims who say, no, this is talking about Muhammad and his relationship with the Quran. So if Muslims want to say the word means that whatever it's talking about over here has been corrupted and this guy's correcting the changes, well, then you did have a minority Muslim position. It's in the commentaries. This is talking about Muhammad's relationship with the Quran. And if it's talking about Muhammad's relationship with the Quran, they say it means you're correcting the mistakes, then great, Muhammad was correcting the mistakes in the Quran. So the point, that's a little idea, but happy to go through that. And we will be going through all of that because we're going to do an entire series on the Islamic dilemma very shortly. Anyone else? What's up?
There was somebody saying, "Oh, you are misrepresenting Nick Fritos. Nick Fritos never advocated for Jew hate. Never advocated for hatred of Jews." So
bull.
This
in
is
fact,
posted by
matter of fact, we're about to see it. He thinks Candace is too weak on Jews, and he's given him too much. She's given him too much wiggle room.
No. So nobody said this in the chat. The person's name is nobody. I have to say, I want to give you the benefit of the doubt.
That's funny. I was like, why are you responding if nobody said it? And you're like, no, his name is nobody.
I want to give you the benefit of the doubt and assume that you don't know, or you do know, and you're just lying here. But I have researched the guy quite a bit, heard stuff come directly out of his mouth, and also saw things on his Telegram account and so on. The guy thinks that the Holocaust is partly deserved, partly lies, that the number is completely exaggerated and probably false, that it never happened, that there were no gas chambers. These are things that are pretty much equal to claiming that the Earth is flat. He praised Hitler. Said was very, very happy when Kanye said that especially Hitler was great. He did lots of other things. He directly said F off Jews. He called Jews altogether demonic. There's just so much. Please just don't be ridiculous. Don't make excuses for the guy who very obviously has a big hate problem here.
Yeah, and it's even hard to find that talk that he gave at his little Groyper rally, and it started getting banned for. It even got banned from Rumble because of the messed up stuff he was saying. Some pretty messed up stuff, stuff. And keep in mind, it's stuff that you only get banned. The reason I got banned was because it really, 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 really sounded like an indisputable call for killing Jews. That's what it sounded like. And that's why even Rumble said you can't do that here. Anyone else wonder what Nick would do if he saw how White said only how Daily Wire can say it? Mo was, then saw the first century Jewish Jesus. Oh, hey, that would be interesting. So you'd have to go to some of the pictures where Jesus is clearly Jewish, because you did have Europeans making paintings and they made him look European and so on. But have a first century Jewish Jesus and then make a picture of Muhammad according to the Muslim sources where he was the whitest of the white. And then I bet Nick would be like, maybe I do need to take a look at this Islam. That Muhammad there, now that guy would fit right into our white supremacist. What a dork, man.
Yeah, the first depiction of Jesus has, as the Nazis would say, very clearly Semitic features. So, yeah.
Cult says, did any of them love the goat for its own sake? Sad.
No. Unfortunately.
Just use the goat for bad stuff. Candace's level of smart is she thinks Frankenstein is based on the Franks. She loves that movie. Look what the Franks did. How do we know for certain they aren't secret Jews fighting each other to make anti-Semites look bad, except Sneako, since he's a Muslim, alhamdulillah? That is a good question. We'll never know.
I also I play with that thought sometimes. Like, what if not Nick Fuentes? Look, Nick Fuentes is actually a smart guy, actually intelligent guy. He's just a very, very dishonest and a very problematic and hateful guy. But there are other people like Jake Shields or like Syrian Girl, people like that. And I sometimes think, what if Israel is actually hiring these people through different channels and, using them as anti-Semitic people in order to give people the impression that anti-Semitic people are stupid, because they're really getting their money's worth. It works very well.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There is a point.
Yep. So the gripers, the Dawa guys.
Yeah.
Sneako.
Sneako.
Hey, here you go. That cricket noise is literally genocide.
It's the best noise ever, man. What are you talking about?
There you have cricket bros. We are so back. Here's one, and then we'll jump right into. Again, we got more super chats, but we'll jump right back. We'll jump right into Nick versus Candace. Nick's flipping out over Candace. But Jason says, do you think USA conducts legitimate elections beyond the fact that we're only allowed to pick the ones they give us? Do votes even count? Well, votes do count. They do count up all the votes and so on. They do things like that. You are right that they kind of narrow things down for you to 2. So it's kind of funny. It's like, hey, you guys make the decisions. Okay, by the way, decide between these 2 people that we've hand selected for you. Pick which one. Oh, you're going to just pick the guy on your side? Okay. So yeah, it's kind of, we feel like we're making this huge difference and so on, but they already narrowed it down to 2 for us. And then, so what you're asking is there election fraud and so on. Yeah, there's always been some level of election fraud, in the sense that if you're controlling things in the voting booth and so on, then you can, it's very easy to get some fake votes into various places, whether you're in there or out there and so on. The question is, does that change the elections or something like that? That's the question, and they'll be debated. And I don't pay enough attention to it all, because I'm not even allowed to vote. So I literally have no vote in there. So my vote definitely doesn't count. And so I never followed this stuff that much.
Alhamdulillah.
Let's see. Goodnight says, I forgot we're about to go back to the video, but let me read this real quick. It amazes me how everything with Israel right now is slowly but surely fulfilling what the Bible has said about the end times. The rise of Islam and anti-Semitism is in the Bible. I pointed that out to AP several months ago. I was like, I've never really been interested in end time stuff, but it is interesting that you had all this stuff and everything's going to be about, surrounding armies surrounding Jerusalem and things like that. And it's like, well, I don't know. It looks like that stuff might be happening.
Inshallah. I just want to see the
future.
I just want to see the third temple established. That's all I want. That's all I'm looking forward to.
And so you shall. All right. Here we go.
Just a very brief comment. There was this genius in the chat saying, Jesus said that their father is the devil. In context, I just want to ask you a genuine question. Please be honest to yourself. Be honest to everyone. I don't expect you to be honest to me, or to be honest to Jews, or to anyone, to everybody else. Open the book, open John 8, read it for yourself, read the context, and honestly answer the question to yourself. Who is Jesus talking about there? Is he talking about Jews as a collective, generally, the average Jew, somebody who believes in Judaism? Is he talking about, or somebody who is just Jew by ethnicity? Is he talking about Jews, or is he talking about certain representatives and certain authorities and certain people who are aiming to have him killed? Who is he talking to? And is at that time Jesus himself and his disciples Jewish or not? And if he is talking about Jews, why are they not included? And why were Christians after Jesus, who were for a quite long time still called Jews, not included in this? And the funny thing is, people like you will point at certain Jews, like 1% of Jews, and say, look, they are saying something terrible about the Goyim. Here they are saying something terrible about Christians. And here you are saying that Jews are evil and their father is the devil. What if Jews now pointed at you guys, at somebody like you, and said, look, this is how Christians are. Look, the Christians all think that we are evil, therefore we should not trust a single Christian. Where do you think this goes, this whole circle here? Don't be stupid.
Oh, AP said everyone in the chat is stupid. He just said it. He said everyone is stupid. He said, how can you all be stupid?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Did I miss one? I did miss one. Oh, let's see. No, I missed. Oh, we didn't go through a bunch, but I actually skipped one. Ari says, if Dizzle puts on a bedsheet and cone and teaches that's Candace, about the Quran, will she convert to Islam? She might. Tell her about the... Guys, if you don't know, this has come up in a couple of videos in the past. The KKK called their handbook the Quran, the Holy Quran. So that's the clan version, the Quran. They were kind of goofy like that. All right, everyone ready? We're going to have Nick Fritos versus Candace. So this is Nick Fritos versus Candace. He is not happy. So he was happy to have the alliance with Muslims. Then he thinks that's not working out very well, but he wants to be friends with Sneako, whom he's going to punish in the future for his blasphemy. But Nick also wanted the alliance with Candace, said he was happy to help her and support her, but she's not reciprocating appropriately, and therefore, and she's sloppy with her evidence and is an embarrassment to the Groypers, and so he's got some problems here. So here we go, everyone. Nick Fritos versus Candace Ovens.
I don't know how much I really even support what Candace is doing anymore, because she's muddying the waters.
She's muddying them. What's up with that?
So, a lot of people are saying it's you are jealous that she's dealing in Dave Smith and not you. That's not the case. I've been very supportive of her, even though she has really not acknowledged me in any way, shape, or form.
Do you hear this? He really whines about people not acknowledging him. This is starting to seem like narcissistic stuff. I help all these people, and I just expect this to be reciprocated, and you praise me for what I've done. Let's see that little part again. Hang on.
She's dealing in Dave Smith and not you. That's not the case. I've been very supportive of her, even though she has really not acknowledged me in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, poor guy. Who is this Dave Smith? He talks about him a bunch. Who's Dave Smith?
He is the guy who recently joined the train of being supposedly anti-Israel, but then anti-Jew basically right now. So it's very hard to distinguish right now. But the thing is, I remember that he also had this attitude a while back about Andrew Tate, where he during a rally started blasting Andrew Tate.
Nick?
Yeah, Nick Fuentes.
Okay.
He started blasting Andrew Tate because he initially supported Andrew Tate, but then Andrew Tate made a quote tweeted something that Nick Fuentes was mentioned in and said, "I have nothing to do with these dorks," and that then made Nick Fuentes mad. So he went on a rally and started talking trash about what kind of a perverted, disgusting individual Andrew Tate is, and the things that he does are completely immoral. Then later, after a while, the two came together again, and it was all all praise and retweeting and sharing and all that. It's just such a self-absorbed, narcissistic perspective. He just goes by whether they acknowledge him or call him a dork or make peace with him and all that. That's it. That's how he decides whether somebody is of good morals or not.
Hey, Nick, you're a dork, dude. What are you going to do to me when you're president of your white Catholic nation? Please have mercy on me, oh great dork of the world.
And people say, oh, you're picking a fight unnecessarily. They say it's about your ego. You're trying to make it about yourself.
You literally just did.
I had no problem, no complaint. Until, one, she started getting a lot of the facts wrong, which really damages all of our credibility. Because you're...
Candace is damaging the credibility of the Groypers. You just heard it. He's damaging our credibility. Okay. Candace, stop. The Groypers had so much credibility. I mean, just piles and piles and piles of credibility they had, and you're diminishing their credibility by getting your facts wrong, Candace. And the Groypers are really big on getting their facts right, and you're hurting them. And it's Nick here is saying enough is enough with your bad facts and muddying the waters and hurting the great credibility of the beloved
already
Groypers.
Pushing a topic which is very taboo and very challenging for a lot of people to get behind, and it's very complex, and it's a very big issue. And so when you bring these arguments, you really need to know your stuff, and you can't expect perfection every time, but you really need to know what you're talking about. You can't go in half-cocked, because if you go in half-cocked and you get a lot of stuff wrong, then people say, well, what else are they wrong about? Maybe the establishment is right. Maybe the institutions are right. And people don't talk about this for a reason, because it's wrong, because they're...
Okay, so his concern, everyone there, and he's gonna break it down more, but he's saying Candace, since she's been aligned now with the basic, anti-Semite movement and Groypers and everyone, anyway, blasting away at Israel and Jews or whatever, that it's already a sensitive issue for lots of people, and therefore you need to make sure that you're getting your facts right. Because if you're Candace and you're just running your mouth and running your mouth and running your mouth, and people start looking this up, and the Franks this and the Franks that and the Franks this, no, yeah, they're killing little kids, and people look that up and say, she has no clue what she's talking about, then you might think, all these anti-Semites are stupid and they don't know what they're talking about. So you don't want that, and therefore you have to be totally correct. That way, when they go look up what you just said, they're like, whoa, I didn't know that. This person was right. And he's saying she's screwing it up. She's muddying the waters. She's hurting the credibility of the beloved Groyper community. That's what we heard here, folks.
Bunch of cranks. So you really need to get it right.
Did you just say bunch of cranks? Who calls people cranks anymore?
This for a reason, because it's wrong, because they're a bunch of cranks. So you really need to get it right.
Cranks. I haven't heard that.
And so when she starts...
That's like something like a guy would have said in like 1950. Anyway.
To get a lot of this stuff wrong, she came out and said the Russian Revolution happened in the 80s. And she's calling them the Bolshevists. And she says that...
The Bolshevists.
Wait, she said that? She said it happened in the 80s?
I don't know. I mean, he's obviously ticked off about her getting a bunch of stuff wrong. So far, they said the Russian Revolution. She said the Russian Revolution was in the 80s, and that it was the Bolshevists. The Bolshevists. All right. Let's see.
She gets all the details wrong about that. And then she says Stalin was Jewish. Stalin was not Jewish. And then she says Ataturk was secretly Jewish. Ataturk was not secretly Jewish.
But I don't like him. And you guys told me that anytime I don't like someone, just call them Jewish. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here.
But I didn't say anything. I said, whatever.
I was actually positively surprised by him, calling this out, because I have Gropers his fans and others come into the comment sections and chats occasionally and say, "Oh, don't you know that the communist leaders, they were all Jews? Lenin was Jewish and Stalin was Jewish."
It's funny because you're getting the impression perfectly. Like that's exactly what they sound like.
Yeah. But then here he is, and actually he is saying Stalin was not Jewish. Ataturk was not Jewish.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were Palestinian.
I'm I'm actually positively surprised here a little bit.
And what's crazy is if she were just praising him along the way, I don't even think he'd be complaining about this. I think he'd be totally fine with her being as sloppy as possible, getting everything wrong, as long as she's like paying homage to Nick Fuentes.
I said, oh, well, not everyone's perfect. I said, yeah, it's not really a good look, but, she's learning. I said she's going to get on the ball eventually. So I didn't say anything. I held my tongue, even though that was not really a good look, okay? You can't really go hard like that and stake the reputation of you and everybody on this.
You can't stake the entire reputation, the golden reputation of the Griper community on this woman that will not be allowed in our white Catholic nation unless, I don't know. If you're going to let Sneako in, I guess they'd let Candace in. I don't know.
And then, get it wrong really severely over and over. She's talking about, all this stuff that, it just doesn't even really make any sense. But then lately she's been saying this Frankist thing.
Here we go.
And I'm going to put something out. I'm not sure exactly when, but I think it's going to be a big collaboration. We're going to talk about this Frankist lie. And the difference between me and her, one, I'm a really good researcher. Two, I really know what the I'm talking about because I've been doing this a long time. It's one of the things.
What are you laughing at?
Really good researcher, sure.
He's a champion researcher, man. He's at the library constantly. I was just in the library the other day reading Protocols of the Elder Zion for the 487th time. I had to do it. I got to know what I'm talking about here.
The Frankist thing, the Frankist lie, is indeed a lie, and it's completely nonsensical and immeasurably stupid. I agree with him there. But I'm pretty sure that we both have that opinion for very, very different reasons. Because it's not an opinion, it's a fact. But I would say that the whole Frankist thing is completely stupid and nonsensical, and nobody should be arguing that it's the Frankists who are the bad guys, because it seems like you are just trying to use this group that nobody even suspected of doing such things to then basically repeat the regular anti-Jewish conspiracy theories, but you get away with it by saying, I'm not saying Jews, I'm saying Frankists, this fringe group. However, it seems to me, and I haven't seen the rest of this, it seems to me that Nick Fuentes' problem, on the other hand, is that when Candace talks about Frankists instead of Jews, she's taking the burden and the blame of the Jews and putting it on a fringe group when she should be demonizing Jews altogether, right? That's pretty much his problem here. So
that is the problem. Yeah, as you go, you think so. As you go through this, you're like, oh, he's actually calling her out for all this insane nonsense she's spouting, when in reality it's basically two things. One, she's not acknowledging him as the leader of the anti-Semites, and two, she's not going far enough. So he's saying, oh, she's sloppy, but her sloppiness is basically leading people to blame particular subgroups of Jews and not Jews in general. And we'll see that here.
You learn. I got a lot of baggage over the past 7 years. I've also learned
you got a lot of
thing or two.
psychological baggage.
Because I didn't get red-pilled yesterday.
He's an OG.
I didn't find out about the clean break report last week. From the great historian Dave Smith.
Yeah, he knows it. He knows it all.
I've been around for 7 years, and yeah, I've been canceled, and I've been the subject of a lot of controversy, but I've also learned and discerned a lot of things, and I've done the homework, and so I actually happen to know all about that, and I know exactly where it comes from, and I know who's pushing it, and
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. That's what he's saying.
Oh my God, So somebody that told me to look it up, and I looked it up. The instance of Candace Owens saying that it happened in the 80s. So she's suggesting this is so stupid. You could write whole pages of articles about this stuff.
Just pause. In this crucial time, how are you not making videos, AP? How? Just tell me. There's so much stuff to make videos. I mean, it's like you're being bombarded every day. Here's another topic. You could literally sit down and have a video out on this in an hour. And you're like, I don't make videos anymore. I don't make videos anymore. It's for losers. All right, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you. But go ahead, because what was she actually saying?
It's a 2-minute clip, and she's speaking so much stupidity just in the first 10 or 20 seconds that I'm looking at, and I'm looking at the subtitles and also listening briefly to what she's saying here. She's saying basically there was a bigger Holocaust than the other Holocaust, but we're not supposed to talk about this. But I'm talking about it because I don't care, because I say whatever I believe in. The bigger Holocaust was against the Christians, and it was committed by the Bolshevists. And their leader was a Jew at that guy, and his name was Henryk Kikoda, which is not the name. That's not the name that she's supposed to be using. And the guy was not in charge. He was not ruling. And then she says that Stalin was mass killing Christians in Russia. His top people were Jews, which is just completely wrong. The guy specifically had a problem with Jews. This is what's known about Stalin. He had paranoia about Jews. He suspected Jews of trying to overthrow the Soviet Union. She again refers to the guy as Henrik. The guy's name was Henrik something. And then she says that this started when the Russian Revolution was happening in 1880. How in the world did she get to 1880? It happened in 1970, man. 1917.
Oh, I mean, to her credit, then, I mean, when he said 80s, I thought she meant like 1980s, and I was like, whoa, yeah. She is way off.
At first, I thought that too, but Candace. I mean, can this be any more obvious that if you don't know anything, you should just shut up?
That would be a good idea. Only problem is, if you just win over a following nowadays, then you can say whatever you want. Doesn't matter how nonsensical it is. Just a fun fact for you guys. Frankenstein, Momin, Billy, Kid, Sangma, and Adolf Lou Hitler are actual names of politicians in India. It's kind of funny if that's true. That's pretty good. Listen to Christopher Hitchens today, 2006, warning about Islam prophetic, but aggressively atheist. No, I mean, yeah, you had people, including Christopher Hitchens and others, who basically had a lot of common sense in the sense that, hey, here's what Islam calls for. And even if I have a nice Muslim friend over here and there's a nice Muslim there and there's a nice Muslim there, eventually this rises to the surface. He saw that. Anyone with common sense could see that, and yet people didn't. And that's why it's like amazing when you go back 20 years and you see people who actually understood what we were saying back then. And here we go. This election does matter. Trump is against mass migration, specifically from Muslim countries, whereas Kamala let everyone in and will continue, to which will change the fabric of this nation forever. Yeah, Tyler, not saying this election doesn't matter. I'm saying if your confidence for fixing things is based on the election or the politician, it's not. You're already doomed. If that's the focus. Guess what? Trump or Kamala is going to win, apparently, unless one of them jumps out or something really weird, really weird happens or something. Then what happens? Then you're going to get a couple years of that, and then you're going to get the opposite at the next election, and so on. It's like it's like the frog in the frying pan. I mean, it's like the frog in the boiling water. You're being cooked. You're being cooked, and you're like, oh, this is what we'll say. You need to focus on what actually has the potential of saving your civilization. You're going to this surface level stuff and not focusing on the deeper issue, which again, if you go back to the founding, they explained exactly what the issue that would rip apart your country would be.
They're eating,
and you're looking at the wrong place.
Here's Joet in the comment section saying, in the chat saying, no, it started in 1880, right, but succeeded in 1917. Are you Candace Owens, or are you trying to simp for Candace Owens? I'm not sure what you're talking about. The revolution in Russia did not start in 1880. It had there was no activity. There was nothing in relation to that revolution happening in 1880. The Bolshevik Revolution happened in 1917 and was going on in the years prior to that. The Russia was collapsed, and the revolution succeeded in 1917. It didn't. The revolution didn't go on for 37 years. Are you insane? Are you drunk or something? Or are you Candace Owens? Could it be that Candace Owens is watching here and trying to correct us? I don't know. It's so weird, man.
The British Bookworm says, when do you guys think the left took over the institutions in the West? The media, the social media, is it organic or larger project coming from some agenda like the fall of the USSR? So the question is, when, journalism and the education system and so on went in a political direction, was that kind of organic, or was that like part of a plot? Like, hey, let's get probably some mixture to some extent. But yeah, you ended up with pretty extreme left in a lot of places, and it was weird because I actually noticed in the early 2000s. So Nabil and I were on the speech and debate team, and you had occasional among debaters, you had some people who were on the right, but as far as the people who were just doing speeches or anything else, they were not just left. I'm not even talking about it. I mean, I didn't care too much about left or right back then. So, but I noticed that most of the people going into speaking and presentations, they were like extreme left. And I was like, why? What is it that's drawing them into this? Because I mean, think about, and it was the same thing when I actually took a class on videography, because I realized I suck at cameras and stuff. So I went and took a film class. Everyone in there was like an extreme far leftist. And it was like, you got a problem here, because if these are the guys who are going into the arts and studying film and how to, and going into speech and how to give presentations and stuff, these are guys like focusing on communicating their perspective to the future. If the opposite side is not doing that, then you're going to end up with a bunch of far leftists who know how to make film and videos and give presentations and going into journalism and all this other stuff. And what are you guys going to do? Anyway, so bottom line is, I don't know if that was some like plot. In other words, people back in the day, hey, let's get in here, or if it's just there's something about the views that drew them into that stuff. Don't know. I would assume some level of both. All right, back to Nick Fritos here.
Pack that, but for our purposes now, let's just say it's not true.
It's not
this
true.
lie that occultists took over the religions and they're making the good Jews go bad. It's just a lie. It's just one among many other lies that you've heard before all too often. There are European-style socialists. There's secular humanists that just happen to have Jewish last names. Jonathan Greenblatt is just a radical left-wing Jew, but the, pro-Zionist ones are close to allies. You've heard it all before. And so now that she's pushing that, I got to say, all right, time out. Yeah, that's not true. And not only is it not true, but it's totally taking away from the message. It's no longer just an inaccuracy. It's no longer a misquote. It's no longer a kooky theory or speculation like, Ataturk being a crypto Jew. Now it's just an outright red herring. Now it's just outright Pied Piper. People followed you because they thought you're a serious critic of the Jews in Israel. And now you're steering them away from that and saying, no, it's not Jews. No, it's not the Talmudists. No, it's not the Kabbalists. No, it's not. No, it's actually the Frankists.
Are you interpreting that the same way I did, AP? Because, again, earlier it sounded like he was saying, okay, she's sloppy with her facts and so on, and she's getting things wrong, and that's going to embarrass them. And so you're like, oh, okay, so he's interested in fact-checking her and making sure she has accurate information. Whereas there, it sounded like you're not blaming Jews in general. You're blaming a certain group that is leading other, and there are forces that are leading certain Jews astray and so on. But the problem is not Judaism itself. It's these other. It sounds like what he's saying, and it sounds like to me like what he's saying is the real problem with Candace is her insane, stupid theories are causing people to think that it's not about Jews in general and not about Judaism. And so he's saying, she's, yeah. Is that how you're interpreting what he just?
That's exactly what I mean. That's what I meant earlier. His problem is that Candace with her false messaging and her ignorance is leading people away from the fact, as he sees it, that it's Jews altogether and Judaism altogether that are the problem, and she is leading them into this. She's misguiding them by making them believe that Jews are actually good, or that Judaism is actually okay and not the problem, but only this tiny fraction of a cult, that they are the problem. He is not okay with that. This is exactly what I meant. His problem with her is that she contributes to hating fewer Jews and not hating Jews altogether. So that's the problem.
So Candace is ruining the Groyper movement by watering down the message and making it not about Jews in general. You got it there. Yeah. Ari says, so here's Candy. I know the earth is flat, so I'm smarter than Galileo because I ask questions. Zing. Galileo. Find Jupiter, the solar system.
And also, why would it be round? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Come on. What's it
sounds
say?
Like there's a lot of propaganda.
What's this AP? You're a master of Hebrew.
It's Arabic and Hebrew. Ma antum tafhamun. I have no idea what that says. And then the other one says, something. I have no idea what any of this says.
Oh, yeah. Don't be posting stuff that AP can't decipher here. Oh, we have hey, the cricket is still there.
Yes, the cricket is here, man.
Hey, we should call this, we should change the name from the Screaming Goat Show to the Screaming Chirping Cricket Show.
Chirping Crickets.
We have fatwa sex pilled. We already came up with goat pilled, guys. We already settled on goat pilled. If Arabia ran out of oil today, the Zimzam well would dry up tomorrow. Yes, it would. And come on, is this really all Zimzam water? Come on. I like going with Zimzam instead of Zamzam. It sounds funnier. So we won't credit Sneako with that, but it'll be our secret that we got the Zimzam from our good buddy here responding to Sneako.
Jose here in the chat says, you can't sit here and deny that disproportionate amount of Jews are in power.
You want to tell him about the Irish?
Yes. I have to tell you a secret, Jose. You are being distracted and fooled into this anti-Jewish conspiracy theory by the Irish, who are actually in charge. Did you know that that no other ethnic group has been as much represented in the American presidency as the Irish? Look up a list of Irish presidents of Irish origin. There are so many of them. Irish people are leading the... You've probably heard before that the banks are owned and controlled by the Jews. It's not true. It's not true. In fact, the top 10 banks in the United States are publicly owned, and their CEOs are not Jewish. In fact, I think only 2 or so are Jews. The CEOs of among those CEOs, there are lots of Irish people, more than Jewish people. So it seems like the Irish are once again in power. You come to lots of companies that have been rising and getting really big. Unless if you don't want to look at the tech sector, you will see that there are lots of Irish people in business. Irish people are leading business. Irish people are in charge of these major funds that have huge shares in banks and so on. The Irish are fooling you into believing that the Jews are in charge. I must say, though, the Jews are in high numbers represented in art and culture, Nobel Prizes, science, and all that. And if you're going to suggest that a population that is 0.2% of the global population actually controls the entire Western world, or even more beyond that, I would say please let them. Obviously, obviously they are really, really good at this, and you are not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're super geniuses according to you. So why are you complaining?
Yeah.
Yes, Sneako, we will partake in the body and blood of Christ. Based, go kiss a goat's black stone. That's pretty rude. Now you're making fun of his religion. Sneako makes Fareed seem like a philosopher. Yeah, he does. It's weird because no matter what happens, there's still something about Sneako you are like as revolting as everything else is. I'm actually super confident in Gen Alpha and younger Gen Z, especially the boys. Parents are way more protective and making a point to instill confidence. Yeah, if you want hope for the future, you got to hope in the recoil, right? You have to say, oh, people are going to recognize that they're going off a cliff and are going to change course or something like that. Are going to recognize that their views have gotten them stuck in a pit and so on. And so anyway, first step, if you want out of a hole, is to stop digging. So you hope people are going to stop digging and then work their way out of the hole. All right.
Here's another conspiracy. The truth seeker said Jewish rabbi owns P-Hub. False. It's not true.
Didn't that just come up? And it's like an Arab guy who...
Yeah, it's actually...
An Arab businessman.
So there is a company that is, funnily enough, I think it's called... something ethical, something fun. I don't know, but it's a company that is basically in charge of several adult entertainment companies and websites. They bought them and are controlling them. The biggest shareholder and owner and founder of the company is actually an Arab guy. It's not a Jewish guy. There is a Jewish guy who is part of the company, not in charge of the company. He is I think he is a managing partner who also has shares in the company, but he is not the owner. He is in the law, in the legal aspects of the firm. He doesn't own the firm. He doesn't own it. It's not his. There was, however, there was an article written by, funnily enough, by a Turkish conspiracy theorist, who wrote this article saying, why does a rabbi own P-Hub? So, and then based on that, another neo-Nazi website copied basically the same article and posted it on their website. And now people keep posting that screenshot and treating it as if it came from a proper news source. It's false. It's fake news. It's not true. I actually got in touch with the guy, with that Jewish guy who is part of the legal department of that company. I said, hey, I would like to have a chat with you about this whole thing. He said, yeah, sure. I never got back to him, unfortunately, but maybe I should do that just to troll these idiots. But the guy was formerly ordained rabbi. He's a lawyer, and he is not the owner nor in charge of these adult entertainment sites. You have been fooled. If you don't know this, then you really have to be better at researching things. If you did not,
you need to get the research skills of Nick Fuentes. He says he's a great researcher.
Or if you refuse to know this, which is more likely the case, then you just have a problem, man.
Just got a problem. That cricket will finish reciting the whole Quran soon.
It will.
So Jesus said to them, truly, truly, I tell you, unless you eat the flesh and drink the blood of the Son of Man, you have no life in you, for my flesh is real food and my blood is real drink. The interesting part here is communion is straight out of the Bible. And Sneako just mocked it pretty hard, right? Mocked it. So straight out of the Gospels, Sneako mocked it. His God and prophet affirm the inspiration, the preservation, and the authority of the gospel we have. And that's just interesting that he's that quick to mock what Jesus said in the gospel that his prophet and his God affirm. Nick speaking as if he's a Catholic. Yeah. So Gabe Gabe and AP think Sneako's not a real Catholic. Interesting.
That's
We got
false.
2 popes. He started with that.
And we all see what's going on. You know, the implications of it being Jewish people is very troubling and very disturbing. And if you keep pushing on that, it gets you in a lot of trouble, a world of trouble. So now we're seeing the backtrack. Now this is the backtrack. She goes in really hard. Everybody supports her. And now she's walking it back. Well, you see, it's not really the Jews, it's the Frankists. Well, I'm not really anti-Semitic. Well, look, I'm going to host a debate between 2 Jewish people to showcase how not anti-Semitic I am.
Oh, that's interesting. I just want to get back to him. But his concern here is that she was going full anti-Semite, and so she had their support, but then she starts trying to dial it back because of the backlash against her. So he's saying she's watering things down because she can't handle the heat of being called an anti-Semite, and so she's trying to water things down and say, I'm not an anti-Semite. I'm just talking about a certain group here. So that's interesting. That's the complaint.
And it reinforces this idea that, you know, we need Jews to tell us we're not anti-Semitic. What if Americans want to have a conversation about our rights and our sovereignty without agents of Israel crying about the Holocaust there to debate in our stead, in our place? I don't actually think it's productive to reinforce that expectation. I don't think it's productive to reinforce that assumption that we need 2 Holocaust survivors, 2 third-generation Holocaust survivors to duke it out about, you know, with this circumscribed criticism of Israel or the current Israeli government. I don't know how. I think that's actually the last thing we need.
Yeah, every time the U.S. is going to have some policy, I always insist that we get 2 Holocaust survivors or their kids or their grandkids to debate the Holocaust in front of us, so that we can decide what we're supposed to do as a nation. That's how things work.
This is so ironic and so hypocritical. You know, Nick Fritos is a coward. Is a little cowardly weasel.
Is he a weakling?
He's a weakling. He's on record in the past talking about how, you know, the Holocaust is pretty much, you know, they asked for it, they deserve it, and so on. But of course, the numbers are exaggerated. It wasn't that much, but they used the opportunity to turn it into propaganda. Now they're crying about it, and so on. That's what he basically said. And then he of course mixes into it lines like, "Of course, and I'm just kidding about this aspect of it." And then he even explained. There was even a video of him explaining, saying, "When you talk about these things that are a little bit controversial, you can't get away by pretending that you're just joking about it and adding a joke into it, because then it gets obscure and people can't tell if you're serious or not, and then you can slowly make people accept the idea that there's something wrong about the narrative and so on." Why are you such a coward, Frito? Why can you not simply come out, since you are criticizing Candace here for giving in, you know, for cowering? Why can you not just come out and say what you think about the Holocaust directly to everybody? Why can't you just come and say it? Why can't you not just come and say, yes, Jews deserved the Holocaust. Yes, Jews deserve to be completely removed from our society. Yes, Jews deserve to be exterminated. Why can't you just say these things when we clearly know that you believe these things? You talk about them as if they were worthless creatures. You talk about them as if they were bugs. You call them demons. You justify all kinds of pogroms about them, against them, and so on. Just say it, man. You're a little weakling, a little coward. That's what you are.
Can we say weasel? Is he a little weasel?
You're a little weasel, and you know what? This is the problem. You act like, of course, you're well, and I'm white, and white people, we're good, and we are strong, and we don't have to listen to the Jews and Jews. You're a weakling. You're a little weakling and a coward. There clearly is nothing special or superior about your race as you want to see it. Okay. That's the problem. And just the mere fact, I mean, just think a little bit further. Just the mere fact that most white people, which you seem to glorify and deify, that most white people completely disagree with you and are disgusted by people like you and hate your worldview, should give you a hint about how stupid your idea of, racial segregation and race realism and the superiority of your whiteness actually is. If most white people hate what you stand for and hate the racism and want a more inclusive world, doesn't it look like most white people are being I don't know, brainwashed by these superior Jews, or they're just not good enough, which is why they don't share your views? It clearly looks like race is not the factor here that makes people great, that makes people advance, that makes people fantastic. It clearly looks like you are wrong on this stuff, and your skin color is not really helping you in any way. You are a little weasel and a coward and a weakling. That's what you are.
In Nick's defense, do we seriously have a Turkish agnostic giving all the lectures here on
Yes.
whiteness and Catholicism?
Yes. Race is stupid. Race is nonsense. Skin color is nonsense. Race does not exist.
Yeah, you Turkish guys say that until you get in control of an area, and then it becomes the only thing that matters.
Race is
what you do.
It does not exist. It is stupidity. You might as well believe that that the moon is a disk that just floats up there in a circle, and that there are actually, I don't know, weird animals running up and down on it. You're stupid. Race is not a thing. Speak what you actually believe in, or shut up, or read a book. I don't know.
Christopher Vito here says, have you heard Nick's take that the Holy Spirit is a PDF file and Mary was 12? Same argument as Muslims to justify abolishing age of consent. I seem to recall something like that circulating a while back, but yeah, nothing would surprise me about this dude saying something here. Slay the crickets wherever you may find them. Good one. Stop interrupting the cricket. That's funny. And Gabe here says, a lot of Catholics have issues with Vatican II. So in your face, AP, you said every Catholic agrees with Vatican II. And
well, not every Catholic. And if he actually recognizes the Pope, then I can't say that he is that he would be heretical. I mean, he is actually he would, from the Catholic perspective, be considered not a good representative and a sinner, I guess, but still be part of it. But the thing is, it is supposed to be respected. Vatican II is altogether supposed to be respected, and there are different aspects of it. What's it called? Nostra something. The aspect which talks about different religions. That's worth a read, definitely.
Can we give the cricket his own Red Pill podcast where he just chirps at harlots? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I mean, he doesn't have to have his own podcast. He could just join Fresh and Fit and so on and jump into that. He'd fit right in.
Is another debate between two Holocaust survivors about America. That's just me. So, we've heard it all before. We've seen it all before. But this is what happens. She went out there. She didn't deal in the expert. She didn't deal in the guy. She rips all my talking points. She doesn't deal me in.
You hear that? And then he's back to complaining she didn't bring him in. And he's whining about that again. She didn't bring in the expert. That's what he just said.
She went out there. She didn't deal in the expert. She didn't deal in the guy. She rips all my talking points. She doesn't deal me in. And then she makes all the rookie mistakes. She gets the facts wrong. She backtracks. She tries to appease this anti-Semitism label. Those are all like the most rookie mistakes ever.
Hang on. The rookie mistakes of what? These are the rookie mistakes of being an anti-Semite, right? That's what he's saying. You realize you get really popular. If everyone's worried about the Jews in Israel, then you realize, hey, I can just steal Nick Fuente's talking points right here and run with those. But you didn't do the research. I did the research. You don't really know what you're talking about. And then when you get called an anti-Semite, then you start backtracking and saying, no, I'm just talking about these. It's a rookie move. It's a rookie move. Come on, you're not a real anti-Semite at heart. You're not really one of us. It's interesting stuff.
If you haven't been red-pilled for all this time, you're not going to know that Frankism is a red herring, or the Khazar Mafia, you know, or Millet being Malayski and related to Netanyahu. You're not going to know that. And you're not going to know necessarily not to backtrack. You're not going to know not to reinforce these things. You know, but she wanted the spotlight. She didn't want the liability. You know, she wanted to be she was coming for our thing, trying to be an edgelord. And she thought that if she gave a couple of acknowledgments to the Groypers that, you know, she could get Classics Groyps to retweet her, but she doesn't have to give me the acknowledgement that is really.
Did you hear that? Because I saw that. No, that little part about he said she thought if she really basically tossed a bone to the Groyper community that she could get Classic Groyps to retweet her. Classic Groyp.
Quick thing, Gavin Barr said Netanyahu called the Gazans Amalek. Is any criticism of the Jews ever valid? Yes, any criticism of the Jews can ever be valid. However, Netanyahu didn't call the Gazans Amalek. He called Hamas Amalek.
Where is the Classic Groyp stuff? Oh, there we go. Let's see. Classics Groyp. Okay. So here's what he just said, and I'll replay it. Classics Groyp has 64.6 thousand followers. 64.6 thousand followers. I'm saying this because here on this issue, I would have to think that Nick is spouting complete idiotic nonsense here. Candace. Okay, Candace
she was really hoping to be amplified by Classic Groyp.
Yes, I want to point out. So I'm about to look at Candace Owens as following. Classics Groyp has 64.6 thousand. So he's got fewer followers on X than I do. Candace has 5.6 million. 5.6 million. So look at what Nick, I confused him. Nick is saying that she's trying to woo the Groyper community so that she can get a retweet from Classics Groyp, who has fewer followers on X than I do. And this is Candace with her 5.6 million followers trying to get a retweet from this guy with under 100,000. So now, sorry, Nick, you sound like a complete idiot now. I mean, you sounded stupid before, but now you're just your explanation sounds stupid.
Please, Classics Groyp, please. Nobody
What can I do?
Me.
What can I do?
If she gave a couple of acknowledgments to the Groypers that, you know, she could get Classics Groyps to retweet her, but she doesn't have to give me the acknowledgement that is really deserved.
Did you catch that? So she thought if she it says some nice things, throws some acknowledgement to the Groypers, she can get this channel, which has a tiny, 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 insignificant fraction of her followers, to retweet her. But she didn't understand that if you want Classics Groyp to retweet you, you have to show the proper respect and kiss the ring of the great one, Nick Fuentes. Guys, I mean, you thought he was I thought this guy was delusional, but I mean, it's just like insane. Like him thinking this is what she's thinking. This is what she's thinking. She's, if I just do this and I really woo the Groypers, then maybe this tiny little channel Classics Groyp will retweet me. But oh no, I didn't realize I have to promote Nick Fuentes if I want that super important retweet from Classics Groyp. That's what he's saying right now. This is how stupid his followers are if they actually believe this nonsense. This is weird because I mean I'm listening to Sneako, he sounds like an idiot. Listen to Nick, he sounds like an idiot. Listen to Candace, she sounds like an idiot. But this is like next level idiocy right here. One more time.
Edgelord, and she thought that if she gave a couple of acknowledgments to the Groypers that, you know, she could get Classics Groyps to retweet her, but she doesn't have to give me the acknowledgement that is really deserved. and she thought she could be edgy and, she could get the spotlight as the far right flank of the GOP. But, it's just not working.
Nope.
It's not working. You can't have it both ways.
Got to kiss the
I
ring.
wish it went differently. It could have been so good. It could have been so
the GOP, the Republican Party, doesn't accept you guys. The GOP kicked you guys out. The GOP kicked you out, Nick Fuentes. You go to their events and they kick you out because they don't want you. They kick people like you out because they don't want you. Because you're stupid and you don't have any power. Your people don't believe in you. But I don't think that this guy is actually as that stupid that he actually believes Candace Owens wanted their endorsement and failed, and now she's super sad about it. I think he's just so narcissistic and he has such a self-inflated ego that he says these dumb things. He fails to realize how dumb it sounds.
Here's the thing: some of the people who have like some serious personality problems, they do think like this, even if they're smart in one area. You can have they can memorize massive amounts of material and be super smart in some field. And when you ask them why another person is doing something, they give the most insane explanation for why the other person is doing something, and it's all these like ridiculous motives that revolve around you. And so anyway, the point is, I've seen people really, really smart, and then you ask them, why did this person do this? And they gave the most insane explanation, like, dude, please do not ever explain why anyone is doing anything because you suck at that. So anyway, this is a weird situation where I don't know. Does he actually believe this? And it's like tied to the other questions of, does he actually believe this other insane stuff? And narcissistic personality disorder would explain some things here.
Oh, good. We could have done a big collaboration. She could have been fine. And, she didn't even have to acknowledge me publicly. I could have been giving her talking points or information behind the scenes. She was uninterested in that. It could have been I think she could have been a really powerful voice. We could have built up a really great team.
She just worked together.
But it's just one thing after the other.
We could have been
so great. Now I'm kind of out. So I unfollowed her on Twitter today. She never followed me back.
Did you hear this? I unfollowed her on Twitter. Oh no, she's going to notice the massive drop in her 5.6 million. Nick,
she's been crying ever since.
Yeah. If Candace like crumbles and she somehow loses it's not going to be over you, dude. It's not going to be over you. There are things that are way more likely to cause her complete downfall than her not following you on Twitter. Listen to this.
But it's just one thing after the other. And now I'm kind of out. So I unfollowed her on Twitter today. She never followed me back, by the way, which is, just so typical.
So such a pathetic thing to say.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. She never followed me back. It's like he'll say all these other things and then he'll say something to where he acknowledges it's all about his ego. That's weird.
She's so mean.
You know what?
She never followed you back.
Yeah, this is what you get. This is what you get. You get this video on Rumble, Candace. This is what you get for not following me back. Now you're going to pay the price. I unfollowed you. Good luck with your 5.6 million followers, Candace. I've got my buddy, Classics Gripe. It reminds me of when they had that rally and he was like, and we've got 500 people. We're going to take over the country. Like, what sort of fantasy land? You got 500 people? Anyway.
Call me when you're ready.
What's that? Wait, he just said it. Call me when you're ready. So I'm unsubscribed from you. Call me when you're ready to actually subscribe to me on Twitter. If you want that retweet from Classics Gripe, you're going to kiss the ring. You're going to acknowledge and respect my authority. I'll give you the talking points that you get to give. Call me when you're ready, and this will help stop your downfall.
I followed you that one. I unfollowed you that one time. But once you're ready, just give me a call. Once you regret your decisions, give me a call, and I will happily follow you back. And I hope that this time you actually follow me too.
Once you've learned the error of your ways and you've repented and you're willing to acknowledge my white supremacy, this guy is a douche, man.
Never followed me back, by the way, which is, just so typical. So I said, you know what? Call me when you're ready. Candace, when you're ready, give me a call.
Yeah, keep waiting.
I'm waiting by the phone, waiting for your call, waiting for you to do the right thing. But until then, I'm out, And for that reason, I'm out. I'm waiting for the call when you're ready to get serious. You tell me when you're serious about telling the truth about the Jews, not the Frankists, when you're serious about getting the facts right, when you're serious about building a real movement, and that involves the organic energy of the Groypers, when you're not afraid of the press, you don't have a Jewish producer. Give me a call. We'll be waiting.
You need the Groypers
for you to join
Candace.
the right side of history. Until then, as far as I'm concerned, it's just more of the same bull.
The right side of history.
So,
dude, we know where the right side
and people
landed.
can call that divisive.
What's that?
We know where the right side ended. Like the last time that you guys tried to go to the right side, they ended up in a bunker. The first guy ended up killing himself and his girlfriend that he just married the night before, and the other guy after him, his greatest simp, Goebbels. He then, as a brilliant, fantastic family guy, what he did was to a few days later think, okay, I can't take this. I can. If my Führer is dead, I want to be dead too. So he gathered his entire family, killed his children and his wife and himself as well. That's what what the people who are on the so-called right side do in general. That is where your side is. Don't be stupid, Fritos. There's always a way back. You can always turn around and realize that you were just being a complete idiot.
And a dork.
And a dork at
and
that.
A loser.
And I must say, and of course there are people disagree with this on different levels. I understand that you are trying to suppress the fact that you are gay and you are and you like little boys, but then this causes and this leads to massive frustration, which you seem to let out in a different, very unpleasant way. There are ways to handle this. If you're not comfortable with it, I'm sure that you can seek help and sort this out in a better way instead of letting it out, in the form of hate against others. It's quite clear that you're gay. We see it, but you don't have to let it out on everybody else.
Yeah, if your life sucks, dude, stop blaming everyone else. Just go.
They call me gay. I'm clearly not gay.
Look at me. I'm the least gay person you've ever seen in your entire life.
I'm not gay. What are you talking about?
I'm the opposite of gay. Would a gay guy be wearing this hoodie right now? Of course not. Of course not. Hey, remember, AP, you had a dream about being the Pope. You see, Nick is a prophet.
That's true. That is true.
Can y'all quiet down? We're trying to hear the cricket. Shout out to the boys of Sayeret Matkal. They landed in Syria, snuck up on an Iranian missile factory and depot under a mountain at a place called Masyaf. They shot their way in and destroyed it. We need to give Nick's take on this. They committed genocide against that weapons factory.
It is totally based what they did. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the sort of thing where, you can object to dropping a bomb or something like, what do you do when someone rushes up into a weapons depot and destroys it all? Complain about that. We know what those weapons were going to be used for, and they took out the weapons.
Alhamdulillah.
Good job. Terrence says, I'm not sure I understand the Groyper argumentation. How do you follow Christ and hate Jewish people? What are the mental gymnastics of that position? Yeah, well, I mean, you shouldn't be hating any group of people as a Christian. If you wanted to say I did, I have a problem with certain bad people or something like that, would be one thing. But when you want to say this entire group, you got some problems there.
Look, if Jesus was alive today, they would do this to Jesus.
The gripers would do that.
That's what the gripers would do.
That's what they would do. 2 years ago, I scoured the Stormfront message board for Nick Fuentes mentions. There was almost nothing. So unpopular, yet he gets such attention. It is weird, but I mean, if you look at attention, if you weren't really following Twitter, you would have no clue who this guy is, and he thinks he's the most important person in the world, and people who are known around the world for good or for bad. He thinks these guys all need to come and pay homage to him. And if you want to come kiss the ring, then I'll be glad to give you my support. And maybe if you're lucky, even a retweet from Classics Gripe and his 64,000 followers. That's the kind of power we've got, baby. That's the power the Griper Empire has.
Hey, may I read two or three quotes from the document from the Vatican?
Which one? Vatican II?
Vatican II, the specific section is called Nostra Aetate, and it is about different religious groups.
Okay, let me read this super chat, and then you can quote all of Vatican II to us. AP is gonna read. So if someone wants to record this, you can have people have the audio Bible. You can have the audio Vatican II read by the apostate prophet. Four crickets put mouse glue traps in garage near entrance baseboard to catch spiders, crickets, etc. Baby oil is... 4 crickets put mouse glue traps in your garage near entrance baseboard to catch spiders, crickets, etc. Baby oil is solvent for glue on fingers. God bless you, D. Wood and AP, for your humorous and informative stocks. Yeah, that's if you want to actually catch them. There's a much easier way to do it, and that's spray some bug spray, and then it will die. All right, now for Vatican II, read by a Turkish agnostic.
Yeah, I just want to read
expert in Catholicism who literally dreams about being the Pope.
I've always liked Catholicism. I also went to a Catholic kindergarten, by the way. So
you see, he was never a Muslim. You see.
The sake of their fathers, he does not repent of the gifts he makes or the calls he issues, such is the witness of the apostle. Next quote: since the spiritual patrimony common to Christians and Jews is thus so great, this sacred synod wants to foster and recommend that mutual understanding and respect, which is the fruit, above all, of biblical and theological studies as well as of fraternal dialogues. Next quote: what happened in his passion, in Christ's passion, cannot be charged against all Jews. Look, very important. What happened in his passion cannot be charged against all the Jews, without distinction, then alive, nor against the Jews of today. Although the church is the new people of God, the Jews should not be presented as rejected or accursed by God, as if this followed from the Holy Scriptures. All should see to it that in the catechetical work or in the preaching of the Word of God, they do not teach anything that does not conform to the truth of the gospel and the Spirit of Christ. And final quote: furthermore, in her rejection of every persecution against any man, the Church, mindful of the patrimony she shares with the Jews and moved not by political reasons, but by the gospel's spiritual love, decries hatred, persecution, displays of anti-Semitism directed against Jews at any time and by anyone. This is the authority of the Catholic Church. Alhamdulillah. You're muted, David. You're muted.
That's weird. Required says, I'm also an expert in Catholicism. It was started by Jews.
Alhamdulillah. So,
Vatican II, read by AP, showing that Nick Fuentes is completely correct about everything he's ever said.
Hope you learned your lesson and stop being anti-Semitic.
Yeah, Nick Fritos, quit calling yourself a Catholic. Or clarify. For
infighting or whatever. Look, I had no problem. I was a team player. You know, I did favors and things like that. I was generous of my time. I think I took a lot of it on the chin. And, you know, this endless glazing of Dave Smith is just about the most ridiculous thing I've seen all week. And that's saying a lot.
Sneako, right after we call you gay and you talk about taking it on the chin and then glazing, come on. You're giving Goat Hub too much ammunition here. I'm speaking seriously. Don't say a bunch of stuff like that we know where this goes. Disgusting. Sick mind. Sick mind.
But then you start going and saying it's the Frankists. Yeah, you know, I question what even the value is anymore at that point. I don't even really understand what it's really all for. Steven Crowder said it's secular humanists with last names. Bill Whittle said it was the cultural Marxists and the Frankfurt School.
Guys, keep in mind, everyone he's complaining about right now, he's saying that all these different groups say it's particular Jews and not the Jews. And he's condemning them all for being on the wrong side.
Do we really need yet another iteration of that? Bill Whittle said in 2013, it was the Frankfurt School, the Institute for Social Research, that migrated to Columbia. They were Jewish communists, equally unwelcome in Hitler's Germany. He was saying that in 2013. Crowder was saying in 2019, oh, they're secular humanists. They just happen to have Jewish last names. Over the past year, we've had Finkelstein and Blumenthal and Greenwald say, Zionist, 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 but don't say Zog. Do we really need yet another iteration? It's the Frankists now. They're infiltrating everybody. Yeah, I don't know if really moving the ball down the field at that point. You know, when are we just going to have the real deal? When are we going to have the full loaf? The whole loaf.
He wants the whole loaf, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, what's he saying? So isn't Nelly? We want the whole loaf. We don't want just a slice of hating some Jews. We want the whole loaf. You got to hate. You got to blame all. You just got to say the Jews. That's what he was saying right there, right? Like blasting away at everyone. And they're saying it's just this group or that group or this group or that group. No, no, no. You're all going about this all wrong. So that's apparently what he thinks is totally going to catch on, and everyone's going to eventually realize that he's correct on.
You know what's even more beautiful?
What?
The letter that Pope John Paul II, when he visited the Western Wall, where he also prayed, which we have a photo of, the letter that he left at the wall, which is quite short, it says the following: God of our fathers, you chose Abraham and his descendants to bring your name to the nations. We are deeply saddened by the behavior of those who in the course of history have caused these children of yours to suffer, and asking your forgiveness, we wish to commit ourselves to genuine brotherhood with the people of the covenant. Jerusalem, 26 March 2000.
You're starting to sound like Nick's about to be excommunicated.
No,
that's what you're sounding. That's what you're sounding like. And well, how you gonna get your Catholic monarchy then? If the leader of the Groypers falls,
well, got to make sacrifices.
That's no cricket. It's a garcid tree. It's over, AP. All right, guys.
Yeah,
so we have one more clip. We have one more clip left, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Candace responding to Nick. Now, Nick also threatened her and said he had dirt on her, and he doesn't want to expose it, but he will. So I didn't play that clip from Nick because Candace actually plays it in her video. So Nick actually threatened to expose her with this secret information that he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to expose her for, but he will if he has to. So now it's to the level of him threatening her to expose her, and her she basically says, yeah, go ahead and expose me with what you got there. You guys should do a boom boom room of Mo going to a party with Christians and Jews trying to fit in. Mo wouldn't go to a party. 4 stooges, including Mike Winger. It would have been funny if I just tossed Mike Winger in that in that thumbnail in some random spot. I'm going to do that in the future. Please give 2 of these dollars to the lovable cricket. Also had to say again that as a lover of languages, AP's chunky Ian Arabic accent on the last live had me dying, laughing. Powerful accent.
It was a lot of fun to do.
It was. In Israel, all Jews say that. Halas.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so now you know. Jinn Cricket is haunting your studio, AP. The Jinn. It's the Jinn. Fresh News says, Candace Owens claims that Israel run America. What are her thoughts on Qatar or Qatar, depending on... You also got to make that... Qatar. Or how George Soros, a Jew, has negative views on Israel. It's
Jews
all part of the
hate
plot.
George Soros.
And it's all part of the plot. You have the plants, the Mossad plants, who pretend to have a different view, even though they're all on the exact same page. Loads of white CCP shills on YouTube sharing their Chinese propaganda on how great and free China is while denying Hong
Kong's autonomy. Huh. Interesting.
Banana says, here's my jizya to you, Dawood ibn Havaudi. Let's see. You guys should watch Rabbi Jonathan Kahn, Messianic Jew, Ridvan. You'd like him. He covers eschatology from the Tanakh and the New Testament. Praying for you guys, Psalm 122:6 for the anti-Semitic Christians.
Thank you. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle. Magnifico says, hey, AP, turn-based strategy is for pansies.
I don't play turn-based strategy. What are you talking about? I play real-time strategy. How dare you?
Michael says, which one of you has a Jewish cricket chirping MK Ultra messages to us?
This is not a Jew. This one is actually Allah. It's me. It's in my...
So now we have multiple theories. It's Allah, it's a jinn, it's a Jew. Israel Advocacy Movement just did a deep dive on Candace conspiracy theories, 37 minutes, but worth checking out. Yeah, actually, right before we went live, I saw that. I think AP saw it a little bit earlier, but we were discussing, because John McCrae also posted a pretty awesome video about Candace. We haven't watched this one yet. We're assuming it's going to be good. But we were thinking of just having a show where we title it Christians and Jews React to Candace Owens, and we just react to John's video. And what's the guy's name from Israel Advocacy Movement? You know him. What's the guy's name? Remember him? Who is that?
Joseph.
Yeah. Mike says, Mike Winger, I'm greater than Jesus. Jesus equals Jew, so he's greater than Jews. Mr. Crikelli. Mr. Crikelli.
Mr. Crikelli, how about stop yelling?
Solaria says, from the 1860s to the 1880s, Russia had an issue with populist Marxist rebels. They didn't actually do a revolution, though. 2 generations too early. Wrong. Candace says.
What they had at that time were anarchists, or they would call them nihilists.
You're an anarchist.
Who were also the nihilists did the assassination of the Tsar in 1881. But the revolution of the Bolsheviks and others did not start until much, much later in the 1910s.
Shiba Dog said, I thought I was supposed to read this. This was a super sticker. Institutional takeover as part of Venezuelan Cuban influence ops and blah, blah, blah. Look up World Social Forum's 23 years of communist organizing. Why am I going to look up all this stuff? Why?
Okay.
I will not. That cricket is a Jew. Now, there's something I understand. Oh, wait. Now we have another one from Mad Social Scientist. Their offshoots, the World Social Forums on Migration, 8 global conventions since 2005 helped operationalize network the groups subverting the border today.
Okay.
Little too deep for our current discussion, which is making fun of anti-Semites. It's like we're right here. Hey, look at this dumb stuff this dork is saying, and you're like, hey, let's dial it up to these deep theories about it. And like our brains are a little too fried for that sort of thing right now. Why do white nationalists do not consider European Jews to be white. They look totally white. They are simply white people with a different religion. So the question here is, why do white nationalists still have a problem with Jews who look white? They're Jews! It doesn't matter what color they are.
The whole thing is just so stupid. So many of these white people are descendants
They're white.
from people who came with invading tribes from Far East Asia or Central Asia or the Middle East. Many of the white people that you have in Europe nowadays are descendants of such people. Many of them are descendants of Jewish people. Many of them of other people who simply mixed and who adopted different beliefs and cultures. This is how people blend together and create new cultures, new societies, new ethnicities. People have this weird understanding, this weird misunderstanding that ethnicity means purely, skin color or racial, descendants and all that. Ethnicity is what populations, by living together over time, form in terms of a shared culture and language and beliefs and all that. Lots of the people who are white today are people who did descend from other people who have nothing to do at all with the proto-European, originally native Western European people. It's stupid to do this whole separation based on white and non-white. It's dumb.
Hey, here you have Isa here. He says 100% agree. Race is nonsense. And he's a Jewish Muslim hybrid. So he would know.
Yeah.
Isa's our buddy, though. But Sid Dave disagrees. He said humans are tribal, so nothing wrong in white Christians being protected of their cultural and identity. Zionists, Hindu nationalists do that. Ethno-nationalism exists and is okay as long as you don't hate others. So he is fully in support of Nick Fuentes's Catholic, white, national. Sid, I hope you've been watching us long enough to know that we're joking here. But...
No, I agree that Western culture is amazing and, in fact, superior to most cultures around the world, which is why
and you grew up in Germany. Shocker! Oh yes, white culture is so great. If only someone had purified it long ago, would be so much better.
Western Greco-Roman culture and Christian culture is very, very much superior to most of the cultures in the world, and it's totally a good idea to preserve that, right, and to not have that corrupted and all that. But it doesn't come down to race. Race is dumb. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's what again the Thomas Sowell quote that we've spent again, he said this in the 90s, but he was saying decades before that, but we keep replacing things that work with things that sound good. And guys, don't underestimate the power of something working well, right? If something is working well in your country, your society, for your culture, wherever that may be, and someone comes along and says, hey, we need to get rid of that thing that works and replace it with this thing that sounds good to us, I need to be a little careful of that. Far 4 says, Fuentes, what's Far 4? Fuentes is our best asset, yeah? He'll establish this white Catholic state, yeah? And we'll be closer to getting rid of the Jews. I'll get my homework back. Far 4 gets his homework back if Nick Fritos wins. All right, guys, we got one more clip. Let's go ahead and jump into this. And this is Candace. We got Candace for the finale here, and she's going to take on the criticisms of Nick Fritos, who's now threatening her.
All right, guys. Speaking of Catholics, I do want to, I have to say, my blood was boiling when I went on X and I saw a clip that was circulating of Nick Fuentes talking about me. And, he's been just on a tear for 2 weeks talking trash about me. I have no idea what has motivated this. I have obviously been dealing with a full onslaught of attacks everywhere from Australia, from the ADL. And in addition, Nick Fuentes has joined in on the chorus And I genuinely am not sure what's motivating it, but I just want to show you what he's.
Hey, why is Nick Fuentes joining forces with the ADL to attack Candace Owens?
Man.
Wow, that's messed up, Nick. You're supporting the ADL to bring Candace down. All right, let's go and see.
Nick Fuentes has joined in on the chorus. And I genuinely am not sure what's motivating it, but I just want to show you what he said so I can respond.
You're not sure what's motivating it? You didn't show him the proper respect, lady. He explained it 47 different ways. I mean, he explained it over and over again in that one little point. He kept coming back to it. And she's not doing this, but then she said, you need to respect me. She really wanted to get a retweet, but now without respecting me, it's not going to work. He explained it. Why are you confused?
To it because I
when a narcissist says it's because of him, believe him.
Have such a strong opinion on stuff like this, and I feel the need to say something. So let's take a listen to Nick Fuentes telling his audience that he red-pilled me. Take a listen.
I red-pilled Candace. She's been watching my show for years. Let's just be honest.
I took her red pill virginity from her. I get it. It was me. I took her to the prom and red pilled her. Look at this dork. I'm the one who red pilled her.
What? It reminds me of obviously completely different mannerism, but it reminds me of how Mohammed Hijab thinks.
That's exactly what it reminded. It reminded me of him going, "Oh, look, Ben Shapiro used the word pusillanimous. I used the word pusillanimous in a video. This proves that he watches all my videos."
Exactly. It's the same attitude, the same narcissistic attitude, of course, with completely different mannerism. It's kind of funny.
Heard enough, and I know she's been watching my show for at least 4 years.
Same
I
thing.
red-pilled her. I red-pilled a lot of these, and I don't want to take all the credit. Me, among others, red-pilled a lot of people. People like Sneako, Jake Shields, Myron, YahWeh, whoever. And I'm not taking all the credit, but I and others, truth tellers, red-pilled people. Candace has a public and a private reason she doesn't want to talk to me or about me. And I said last week, I have evidence that both her public and private reason are bull. And I'm not indiscreet. So I'm not going to go and spill the beans on everything. And I said last week, if she wants to, she can. But that's not true either. And if I'm pushed and my credibility's on the line, well, I'll have to say it. I don't want to because I'm not an indiscreet person. But, you can't just lie and lie. Well, I can't talk to him because YouTube. Well, that's BS. Well, I can't talk to him because this lawsuit. That's BS. Well, Nick knew there was a lawsuit. You're right, but I know other things too. So, don't play with me. I'll remind you. I'll remind you, girl, about our text. When she texted me during the YahWeh thing back in 22, she said, "Oh, I don't keep secrets. I don't believe, I'm going to expose everybody and blah, blah." Well, Orange, you glad I'm not like you then, right? Because I kept that pretty quiet for a couple of years. You glad. Just like I'm keeping this quiet.
So guys.
What's going on there?
This guy has serious narcissism problems. So guys, what he's just saying there is you're wondering what he's talking about. If she keeps lying and she keeps lying, I've got this stuff on her. I know this stuff. I know stuff about her. I know stuff about her real reasons why she's doing this stuff and saying this stuff. And I know her real reason. You're like, what? What's she saying? And all these lies. He said he knows the real reason why she's telling all these lies. And you find out what they're lies about. And it's saying about him, well, I can't be associated with him because of YouTube. I can't be associated with him because... Those seem like completely correct reasons. Like, hey, Candace, why aren't you bringing me on your show on YouTube? Because that would instantly get flagged for hate speech or something like that. Like real quick. Like it even happened. I mean, it even happened without her having her. If you were on as her co-host, and so what do you think is going to happen? So the point is, she has pretty legitimate reason, even with her insane rants and sounding like a complete idiot. she would still have legitimate reasons for not wanting to be associated with you. And what he's saying is, no, the reasons she says she doesn't want to be associated with me are not the real reasons. Instead, it's this other stuff that I've got. I'm not indiscreet, so I don't want to share it. But if I'm pushed, and he said how pushed with lies. Lies what? The lies he said she told are about why she can't associate with him. So if she keeps saying she can't associate with Nick because she would get canceled even faster, it just wouldn't work, or this or that, he's going to expose her. He's going to expose her with this awesome stuff. The real reason she doesn't want to associate with him. This guy's nuts, man. This guy's massively delusional. Okay, so we've got Nick there, and I guess she's about to jump into her response. So he's the one who red-pilled her. Everyone knows it, according to him. He's the one who red-pilled her. He's the behind-the-scenes hero. But she says she can't associate with him for reasons X, Y, and Z. He says those aren't the real reasons. It's this other thing, which because he's discreet, he's not sharing, but he will if she keeps pushing. So that's a threat.
Don't play with me.
Yeah. So
don't play with him, Candace.
First and foremost, did not like that because that arrived to me as some sort of a threat. Like he's got like information on me or knows stuff behind the scenes. And so let me first and foremost say this. The idea that I have been red-pilled by Nick Fuentes, parking aside just the utter arrogance of that statement. I've been in politics for 8 years. There's not a single person that I would say, they owe me, I red-pilled them, I red-pilled this person. It's a complete nonsense. I never watched a single episode of Nick Fuentes' show until after he did, which I have said publicly, the public X space that was hosted by Lauren Chen. And it was the first time that I heard his story. And I thought,
you hear that? She said, nope. She's been doing this for years, and she had never even watched one of your videos up until Lauren Chen, living large with that Putin money, had a spaces, and then she said she heard Nick's story or something like that. I don't even know what Nick's story is. Hang on one second.
That was hosted by Lauren Chen, and it was the first time that I heard his story, and I thought to myself, wow, what happened to this when he was a kid was completely wrong, and I never knew what the backstory was, and I was quite interested by it. I have never said anything publicly about him, have not jumped in on everybody saying, you must disavow, you must say this, you must say that. And so to have somebody take my name to lie and pretend that I've been following you for 4 years, like you're the person who saved me from the left. You have nothing to do with my story. You have nothing to do with my background. And I don't know what purpose it serves to even say this. I have no.
So this is, do you know what his story is that she's talking about? How, what happened to him should have never happened when he was young. Do you even know what she's talking about?
I don't know. The first thing that I thought of was you stole my story.
I was thinking like, what? He get beat up by a Jew at some point or something like this? A Jew was just like beating him up on the way to school every day, and this explains things. And
I don't know.
I mean, something like that would explain things. But so anyway, I mean, think, guys. Nick is, I'm the one who red-pilled her. I'm the one who red-pilled her. She's like, I never even saw one of your videos, dude. Never. You had nothing to do with that. And then she also pointed out she's never said anything about him. She's never made any public statements about him. And he's like, if you keep lying about me, then I'm going to share this dirt I've got on you. If you don't stop lying about me. I haven't said one word. This is interesting. But it is like he might be one of those guys that where you're saying something and he's interpreting it as everything is about him and stuff. Like, in other words, if she were to say, and so I can't associate with everyone because, I'd get in trouble with YouTube. She's talking about me there in level 1. That's why I have to expose her if she doesn't show me respect. That's a weird, creepy dude, man.
I heard that. So he wanted to be a painter, but then he wasn't good. He didn't succeed with that. So he had to be.
Did he like dogs?
He had to be dropped out of that. He always had a fascination with dogs. And all that. That's all I know about him.
So we don't know. We do not know, ladies and gentlemen.
Idea why you would say something that is just so resoundingly untrue when It doesn't serve anything. There's nothing here. There's just no reason to do it. But parking all of that aside, to pretend that there is something you know about me, like I said this, I messaged him privately, you have my full and explicit permission to release whatever it is that you think you have on me. Like, there is nothing that needs to be private. Don't do that. Don't think that there's going to be some sort of a fear campaign or you're trying to, there's a little bit of a threat there. Don't make me have, what are you talking about? You've literally been speaking to yourself on your show and I've said nothing back to you. You're in a corner fighting yourself, picking fights with people.
You're in the corner playing with yourself. And I'm not even watching you, and you think everyone's watching you.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. That hurts. That must hurt, Nick Fuentes. That must hurt. I feel that. Wow. But the rejection that he's getting from Candace right now is wow.
It's brutal. I mean, she's like, I barely know who you are. I haven't said anything about you. You're saying I'm saying all these lies about you. I haven't said anything. And you said you got this dirt on me. What is it? And what's crazy is, given how he's apparently like thinking everyone's talking about him, and he thinks everyone's obsessed with him and they're getting all their information from him. He might have be watching some of her videos like, now I get it. Now I get her real reasons. Let me write this down. I got this dirt on her. And if you asked him to explain it, it would be, well, look what she said here. And this connects to this. And look, she used the word pusillanimous, which she actually got from my video here where I was talking about this. So that means she knows that. This shows, now I got the real reason. It might be like some insane, incoherent nonsense. Like, what are the odds that Nick Fuentes actually has this dirt on Candace Owens that could ruin her? It could ruin her. And he's like hiding it because of his discretion.
Nothing to you. Okay, I don't need to have your perspectives. I'm sorry you don't like that I'm friends with Dave Smith. I'm sorry it doesn't seem possible to you that there could ever be a legitimate friendship between a Christian and a Jew, but there is one. I like Dave Smith. There's no funny backstory there either. I had him on my show not because I wanted him as a token, but because my producer was a huge fan of his on my old show and said, hey, have you ever heard of this guy, Dave Smith? And my answer was no, because I know this is going to blow your mind, but your audience is not the same as my audience. You don't make an appeal to suburban moms. I would assume the majority of your audience is
She's saying her audience is suburban moms, but his isn't, and therefore we don't have the same audience. So get your mind around the idea that we don't have the same audience.
I kind of doubt that is actually her audience. I would like to see some stats on.
I would guess that she's been steadily losing her audience of suburban moms. Whatever percentage suburban moms made up, she's probably been losing that steadily.
It's kind of like when Pearly Things talks about how she talks to women, and then when you look at her audience, it's like 99% just weird men lurking in the chats.
Mm-hmm.
Male. I also don't even watch Andrew Tate's videos, and I'm friends with him. I don't watch his videos because his audience is male. It's just a different market of ideas. It's absurd to think.
Sitting there using Tate and her friendship with Tate as an example. Bad timing, Candace. Bad timing on that one, because all the stuff about him and now in trafficking a minor and so on, and them possibly getting, now they're up for life in prison because of the charges now against them, and it involves trafficking minors and so on. So I don't know if you should be referring to your close friendship with Andrew Tate, whose picture is still hanging on your wall despite being a human trafficker.
I want everyone who respects Candace Owens and her supposed conservative Christian beliefs and her supposed journalistic integrity and all of that to just pay attention to this. I want everyone to just listen to this for a second here. I don't really want to extensively talk about it, but as she mentions, she's friends with Andrew Tate, and her husband is also friends with Andrew Tate from long before Andrew Tate became famous.
That's an actual quote. He said I was friends with Andrew Tate before he was Andrew Tate, meaning before anyone who had any clue. That means before he was a fighter, professional fight, before any of that. This guy, that means they go way back.
Hold on. Very important. Andrew Tate, we know, is a guy who made his wealth, his fortune, by tricking women and young girls into the porn industry, and made money off of them. Right now, the prosecution has presented incredibly convincing evidence, including transcripts and so on, that Andrew Tate, on one instance, had forced and brutal sexual interactions with a 15-year-old girl, whom he also hired and used for his business, which is illegal everywhere around the world. Used her from when she was 15 years old, brutally had different and extremely painful forms of sexual interactions with her, and abused her brutally, and kept her quiet by paying her money and threatening her, and so on. This is all out there. Candace knows these things, at least knows much of what Andrew Tate did and what he's being accused of. Andrew Tate's charges are changing very, very heavily right now, drastically. He's probably going to go away for quite a long time. And this self-proclaimed Christian conservative journalist, I'm not going to say it, is still calling him a friend and still defending him. Wow, man. I don't know what to say.
It actually reminds me of the situation with all the people supporting Hamas and so on. It's like, it's the same thing. You're defending this stuff, and you could do it for a little while. If eventually it catches up with you. The internet's forever, ladies and gentlemen. And all these defenses, because she defended Tate, Tucker defended Tate. Who was it? Was it PBD? All these big podcasts. Hey, let's get Tate on here and show our support for Tate, and we'll toss him a couple softball questions and so on. And Tate was doing some really messed up stuff, and it's I don't know. It seems similar to all the let's wipe out Israel and stuff, and maybe Hitler wasn't such a bad guy. Yeah, maybe the Holocaust, maybe that was a good idea. And they're saying all these things, and it's like, guys, the popularity is saying some of the brief wave of popularity of saying some of these things is going to die down, but that internet's not going away. So
these people make me sick, man.
You know you want to push your sick button.
You're sick.
Of 3, I go home and I'm watching all of this male content. And I think that's part of the reason is there's just such a gap here. It's a totally different thing when you've had 3 kids in 3 years and you have a household, and the way that your brain works and what you do with your spare time when you have a show that's 5 days a week. And when you're not, when you're in a situation like Nick Fuentes, and you really believe that if someone reflects anything that you have said, the idea must have come from you.
I'm agreeing with Candace on this. She's pointing out she was doing shows, big shows, 5 days a week. She's had multiple kids, and Nick Fuentes, who has nothing to do other than sit around looking at internet stuff and screaming about Jews, does he really think that in the little bit of time she has to spare, she's there watching his videos, getting his talking points down, and then of course watching Andrew Tate videos and stuff like that, and figuring out how she's going to be super based and stuff. It's like, I kind of see her point here, in that it's pretty freaking insane for Nick to think that. Like, what level of narcissism do you think that, hey, here's what people are saying on their shows and stuff. As soon as their shows are done, they're watching me. They're there watching me going, let me get my next talking point. Oh, I'm going to say that in a show. And then, 2 weeks later, she says something about Jews. And she got that from me. I said something about Jews. I said something about Jews. Then she said something about Jews. Obviously, she got the stuff about Jews from me. I'm the only source of information about whining about Jews. Delusionally narcissistic dude, apparently.
And again, like I said, I won't make any apologies or excuses
or you don't like apologies,
capitulate to this idea that I can't be friends with Dave Smith, who is actually just an awesome guy. He really is. Like, I met him because
Did she say that about a Jew?
Somebody pushed me to have him on my show, and then I had one of the best conversations that I had ever had on my old show. And I thought, I really want to keep learning from this person. Do you think I've never had Jewish friends in the past, that I don't have friends from high school? And in your mind, it's warped to believe that the only way they can be friends is if they're using each other as tokens. And your idea here is that unless people agree with you, they're a fraud. And
exactly. I mean, more specifically, from a narcissistic perspective, if Nick is the sun at the center of the solar system and you are not revolving around him as you're supposed to, then you're off on the wrong course. You're detached from the sun in your solar system.
Also, unless somebody has the same perspective as you, and also
keep in mind those audio problems, for some reason they're on her stuff, which, I mean, for someone making between $100,000 and $200,000 a month just from YouTube ad revenue until recently, let alone sponsorships and all that stuff, it's weird that she's got these audio problems.
so unless they speak to you, I mean, could you just explain this to me very slowly? What is the perspective here? Unless you fully agree with me, you're a fraud. And also, if you say any ideas that I say, they obviously must have come from me. So when I arrived at the conclusion that Me Too was fraudulent from day one and that BLM was fraudulent from day one, if I go on and I see that also the Tate brothers say that Me Too is fraudulent, then clearly they must have gotten it from me. They must have been watching my show for years. I created.
Yeah. So guys, you just point out, say, hey, if I say something and I see Tate says something, we both say the same thing. Oh, that means they got it from me, because I know I didn't get it from them, therefore they got it from me. She's pointing out like how insanely delusional that is. And it's exactly what we've seen Nick say over and over and over again, like a beating drum.
The Tate brothers. They got that from me. I created all these people. I once heard Dan Bilzerian say something. He got that from me. This is just not a game that I'm going to play. So I'm completely fine. As I said, and I will say it publicly, you can put whatever you want to put up about me. I conduct myself in private as I conduct myself publicly. I give everyone a chance to be kind. I don't take a perspective about people from others, but this was complete crap. And you heavily implied that you had some dirt on me, and you have my full permission to release whatever dirt you think that it is, because there isn't any. There absolutely is not any.
I'm not going to release it. Okay, I'm not going to release it, actually.
Release the Kraken.
Unless you force me, I'm not going to release it.
Hey, I don't know if you saw the news, but there was apparently in somewhere in
the dude who got shot
in Boston.
You talk about the guy who got the anti-Israel protester, the pro-Hamas protester, or whatever.
Yeah.
There
was an American veteran who was carrying Israel and America flags and protesting for Israel. Regular American guy, by the way, not even Jewish, was tackled by this pro-Palestine guy, brutally knocked to the ground, and eventually shot in the stomach.
It's pretty messed up that you're laughing about that, because you shouldn't want him shot.
Well, no,
although he did charge, because that was self-defense, right? They charged him and like attacked him. I mean, the dude charged him and attacked him, right? And then they shot.
Yeah. But apparently the guy, although he defended himself, is now being is apparently detained and being charged with assault and several different things, which is very, very odd. That's Boston.
Yeah, so we'll be checking that out. I'm looking at the video footage. Obviously can't play it. There would be problems playing in actual footage of a shooting here. There should be plenty of clips. There are people in the area who are all recording.
Okay. There are big car parks in Boston.
They'll go to Dunkin' Donuts, apparently. All right, so we've been through the clips, ladies and gentlemen. That's the state of... I'm pointing this out, and the reason I want to go through this stuff is it looked pretty creepy like 8 or 10 months ago. And it looked like everyone is like uniting, everyone's uniting around the theme of, we do need to get rid of Israel. And looks like that is not going to last. Doesn't look like any of these alliances are going to last. Anyway. That's how things look to me.
But the Jews are behind Israel.
That's true. That is something the Jews are behind. Did Candace become anti-Semitic and get kicked out of the Daily Wire rightly for it, or did she become an actual anti-Semite after getting kicked out? She was saying messed up stuff beforehand, right?
She was saying messed up stuff, and she made headlines by after she publicly liked and this one tweet, which was
she liked a tweet about being drunk on Jewish blood. I mean, on Christian blood.
It was an exclusively anti-Jewish account praising Nazi stuff, which responded to Rabbi Shmuley and said, "Are you drunk on Christian blood again?" or something like that. And she liked that, and it's just
she liked it.
And that happened after a long streak of her saying insane things already. But I'm pretty sure that after she separated from Daily Wire, which she also was very happy about, allegedly, she got more extreme. Yeah.
Christian Gadfly says, I uploaded a video on how Muhammad looked. That's silly. AP and D-Wood fans might enjoy it. Keep up the good work. You mean you put together a description of Muhammad in the sources?
Inshallah.
Because I did that too, but I just had a white sheet of paper. I said it was a drawing of Muhammad. It was super wet. From the couch to the TV, crickets will be free. Got to get the meter right. Got to get the meter right. And then we can chant it regularly. Not to mention, Jesus asked for those who crucified him to be forgiven as some of his last words. All of those Vatican II words are appreciable too. A pusillanimous leather grape on Zabiba machine of the cow. Just a cricket. Quit blasting away at Nick. He wants the full loaf. He does say that. We want the full loaf. Who says that? Is that like a saying somewhere in some part of the country or something like that? We don't want it. We want the full loaf. We don't want a slice. We want the full loaf. It's such a weird, stupid sounding.
I know some people were asking, what did he just say when he said half-cocked? But
that's what I mean. If you're already sounding gay, and you know there's all these accusations about you being gay. Don't say all these words that people like that. Anyway, you can't help it, right? You can't help but, oh, this guy, did he just say that? And here I am taking it on the chin. Dude, shut up. Just shut up. Learn different sayings, dude. I want the full loaf. What? The full loaf. Oh, loaf. Okay. Dude. I'm legitimately trying to help because I can't help it when everyone's joking about how, you know. Anyway. Hey, AP's Cricket. There's a new account. AP's Cricket. I got a bigger fan base than both of you combined.
That's nice.
There's an AP's Cricket channel. AP, if this becomes a thing, it's going to get to where you can't get rid of the cricket. It's just
know. The funny thing is, I can't tell if some people are actually annoyed by it because I see more people saying, "Hey, the cricket sound is quite cool, very nice." It's like, are people actually enjoying that? Maybe they're enjoying it. Maybe I should have a cricket sound in the back all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, cricket sounds it's one of the best sounds because there's a rhythm to it, right? It's not like it's random. I mean, it's kind of random if it's in the room because they'll get quiet because of something. But you know, a cricket is very rhythmic.
It's a funny thing. I'm walking over there to see where the cricket is, and when I walk over there, it gets quiet. And then when I walk away, it starts.
That's what they do. That's what they do. They're smart. D. Wood, I am lay preaching at my church this Sunday on Abraham sacrificing Isaac. I'm using several points from your video about Reed. FYI, I will be giving you 0 credit. That is exactly what you do, Mark. You can steal anything I say in that video. You can actually take entire sections, just repeat them word for word, and give me 0 credit. That is exactly what you should do. Moo Joe says, this clown does not understand she and Sneako do not need the KKK clicks. They have the Muslims, 2 billion of them. Yeah, no one needs the 500 gropers. Opposition politician Islamic Party in my country said we should encourage marriage between us and the kuffar to secure more votes. Yeah, you can actually, I mean, that's the view as far as, but look, we can marry Christian and Jewish women. Yeah, that was viewed as taking over the reproductive capabilities of the people you want to subjugate. And yes, it was evil. Getting mad at melanin is some Don Quixote energy. Charging at it. Yeah. You got Nick. What's up with all this melanin? If humans are so ethnically tribal, then why aren't black Hebrews, white nationalists, and all of them more popular? Yeah, that's a good point. So you got the Hebrew Israelites, the white nationalists. Like, if everyone's so obsessed with the race and so on, then, hey, when you come up with a group and say, I'm all about the white people, then you should be super duper popular and not some weird little fringe group. David makes a good point, pauses, and cricket sounds off, of course. Cricket sounds off. That's what we do. That's what we do.
That's what they do.
White nationalism is ethno-nationalism. It is rooted in white Christian identity. They don't accept European Jews or even Muslims from Turkey, Albania, Kosovo, Chechnya, who may pass as white as well. Yeah, they only want certain white people, the good ones. We only want them good white people. We want the good ones. That's what they sound like.
I think I'm going to eat the cricket in a little bit once we're done here.
That would be messed up, unless you cover them in chocolate. AP's going John the Baptist, but with crickets. AP says Deuteronomy 13:13 mentions Muhammad at the end. I'm going to go ahead and read it.
That's 23. Not 13.
Deuteronomy 23:13. Here we have it. He says it mentions Muhammad at the end. As part of your equipment, have something to dig with. And when you relieve yourself, dig a hole and cover up your excrement. I don't know which part of the end AP could be referring to as applying to Muhammad. Talking about biblical prophecies about Muhammad. Dig a hole and cover up your excrement. No idea.
I don't know.
No idea. No idea.
I don't know.
You should have.
Is that a coincidence? No. See?
You should have the cricket debate a Muslim scholar. That would be an epic debate. It'd be the finest debate of our time.
Yeah.
We American vets remember what is right and what is wrong.
That's true.
What are you guys doing when they're eating the dogs?
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
And the vets are sitting around doing nothing when you're supposed to care for animals.
Alhamdulillah.
Sorry, Michael Feldman. We American vets remember what is right and what is wrong. Michael Feldman, I don't know if you ever saw the Ali G show, but there was this funny joke about a guy trying to explain the difference between a veteran and a veterinarian, and he was too dumb to get it. And it reminds me of a lot of people who are fans of Dawah nowadays not understanding basic things like words. Yeah, there are statistics on that, though. It's the older generation that is much less gullible than the younger generation. David, don't let anti-Semites hijack the church. We will not. They will have to saw our heads off to stop us. And we've got the apostate prophet right there in the midst of the church telling people about Vatican II.
Yeah.
And Preshi here says, fun fact, all major world religions were founded by brown people in the Middle East or in India. Brown people are God's chosen people. Wrong. Not all major world religions. Muhammad was an extremely white person in the Middle East. So if you wanted to make a case against white people, ladies and gentlemen, make the case that Muhammad was the whitest prophet in history, and he's the one who started Islam. So look what white people do. They mess things up. They messed up religion. You had all these brown people. They had all these brown people starting all this good stuff, and then Muhammad comes along and brings about Islam.
I said some good things about Catholicism today, but I just wanted to quickly show this here just to get some donations from Catholics, because that's what I'm doing this for. Like, I don't care about Catholicism.
Yeah.
So,
all you Catholics, support. Be sure to support AP's buying frenzy of Catholic items. So sign up. You can sign up on his channel. Go to Apostate. Go to Apostate Profits. It's apostateprophet.com, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. AP needs to buy more crosses and such.
Everybody knows we only speak well of certain groups or people in order to get money or because we are directly paid by them.
That's what we do. That's what we do. So that's the only reason to do stuff. So if you want to see AP continue quoting Vatican II, then be sure to send him.
If you don't send me money, I will become a groiper.
Oh, hey, what's this? Michael says, D Wood, it is all good, friend. You know, I saw you in Dearborn. Take my jizya as an apology, lol. Oh, you saw me in Dearborn? That's cool. My home away from home. And hey, I was about to click off, and then there are these super chats now. The Ali G show could turn even the most anti-Semitic white supremacist into a Jew-loving Jew lover. Thank you, Sasha. Yeah, it was some hilarious stuff. I especially like the stuff because he would obviously prepare stuff, but there were occasions where he's responding to what the other person has said, so it couldn't be planned. The other person brings up some random thing, and he responds to that, and it would sometimes be absolutely hilarious. So we need to go back and watch that at some point. Here's some Catholic jizya for more rosaries. Yeah. You got to send it to AP's channel because I don't think I'm going to spend it on rosaries.
Gravity X said AP doesn't burn people at the stake. I wouldn't be so sure about that. How do you know?
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen. He seems like the most cold-blooded person that I interact with at all. He's always like, that person should die. This person would be better off dead. You see? It's, weird stuff. Weird stuff.
I mean, I eat people. How do you think I prepare?
That's true. That's what you do. That's what you guys are all upset about Nick Fuentes. Got a cannibal right here. Anyway,
They're eating the people.
They're eating. AP is eating the dogs and the cats. I saw it on TV.
Eating the dogs.
Yeah, guys. So anyway, remember what's going on here because you're going to see this over and over again. We talk about the Dawa wars. In that these guys you've got a bunch of narcissists in the Dawa community, and what happens? They all start fighting against each other, and they all have to attack. Sometimes with like actually legitimate reasons and so on, but it's built into them. They're all amped up. They all want attention, and they all start attacking each other. You see that among the anti-Semitic crowd. They can't get along. They eventually start attacking each other. Guess what, guys? Everyone is going to be going through this to some extent. If you feel like you're being attacked from all directions and so on by really crazy ideas, the inclination will be to join a group for your protection, to form alliances. But if you're all amped up and you feel like you're being attacked, it's also you feel like attacking in all directions. That's a natural response. So be aware of that. And when you see it happening with evil groups, try to encourage the breakdown. And when you see it with a good group, let them know, hey, guys, understand. Hey, you had a disagreement here. You do not need to split up over this stuff. Focus on what's more important. All right, guys, I will be out of town this weekend, so AP should definitely go live again on Saturday. So you got someone lined up? You're going to be solo, man.
I'll find somebody.
Good. Find someone cool. And whoever they are, they will not be as cool as me. And people will be like, where's David Wood? Why? Why do you got this loser with you? Matter of fact, I will probably just be on my phones, in El Paso going, who's this loser? Who's this loser with AP? Posting.
I still don't know why you're going to Mexico. But tomorrow at noon, I will actually be live with Sam Shamoon. Tomorrow at noon, I'll be live with Sam Shamoon. I invited him. He said, yeah, okay, brother. That's what he said. So I'll be live with him tomorrow. Tomorrow night, nothing happens. But on Saturday, I will be live once again. Once I find somebody. And then I might even go live on Sunday again. Wait, are you back on Sunday?
I'll be back like Sunday night, but that's when my flight comes back. So I get back like 9:30 or something on 9:30 or 10 or something on Saturday.
All right, I'm accepting applications right now.
Yeah, guys, send in your applications to be the Apostate Prophet's co-host for his show.
If I can't decide on any co-host, I will just have to go live with the cricket.
That would be funny. Hey, for people who don't want you to kill him, you could put him in hunt him down and put him in a little jar.
Yeah.
Then
And
you
I could
could-
put
then you could
a
have a-
second camera. Put a second camera on the cricket and and go. live
Yeah,
with
everyone
the
has like
cricketers.
their cat cam and stuff. You could have your cricket cam. That'd be super cool. That'd be awesome. Chirping Crickets podcast, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be the other show.
I see the most popular suggestion is Mike Winger. So I will probably go live with Mike Winger.
Yeah. If you want to torpedo your entire show. Be better off having Nick Fuentes join you.
Inshallah.
Anyway, if any of you are going to be in El Paso, hope to see you there. Other than that, you could catch AP on his channel. And we'll catch you all next time.
If you want to go down to Mexico.
Getting some tacos, real tacos.